Are you ready? 20 seconds start now. Ten seconds remaining. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, everybody, you are live with us on the Lights Out Sports Podcast. It's myself, Mike Valentine, and my buddy Cheese. And in just a minute, I may regret this decision, but we're going to bring a second Packer person on here, and this is just going to be incessant. Go, Pack, go. I don't know what we're going to do here, but it'll be fun once we get to it here in just a few moments, everyone. So, Cheese.
Yes.
It's like the second week in a row that we haven't done anything special throughout the week. I've been a little under the weather. I know you were a little under the weather last week. Have you recovered, sir?
Yeah, it was just like 2 or 3 days. The allergies got me and then it's gone. So, yeah, I've recovered. I got a question for you.
Sure.
Well, first of all, are you feeling better?
We got enough drugs in me right at the moment that I'm okay for the next hour and a half or two.
Okay. Mike does drugs. Second of all, are you headed week 9 to Spain?
No.
Are you headed to Spain for the Bengals-Falcons game? Madrid.
I'll be lucky if I make it up that early for the Bengals-Falcons game right here in Arizona on week 9.
I guess we're not going to do a watch along. I was going to say if it's an early game before it starts, we could do a watch along, but apparently not.
Well, no. I mean, if that's what you want to plan, that's several weeks away. I think I can mold my schedule by that point to do it. So yeah.
Yeah, because usually they put those games at like 9:30 Eastern in the morning. So 8:30 my time. But yeah, we'll see.
Okay. No, I say we go ahead and announce it. If you want to do it, let's do it. I like it.
Week 9, which I don't know the date, probably early November. We are going to do a watch along for the Madrid game. It's Bengals at Falcons. Well, basically Bengals Falcons. It's not at in Spain. So the Bengals do not lose a home game. The Falcons do.
Well, that's the interesting part. I didn't know who lost the home game. So
yeah,
all right.
I believe the NFC has the extra game this year, the extra home game, so they lose all the neutral games in Europe.
All right, that's interesting.
I believe so. I could be wrong.
Yeah, we'll talk about this a little bit more in the Flaming 5 and 5 here in just a few minutes. I'm sure you're going to talk about it a little more with our buddy Isaac when he comes on from the podcast here in just a moment. His podcast is Fun Football Podcast. I had to look over here at my notes to make sure I got it right. But yeah, Fun Football Podcast. We'll have Isaac on here in just a moment. All right, buddy.
All right.
I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and get into this Flaming 5 and 5 if you're ready. All right. I mean, are you sure you're ready?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you're so excited. And you just can't hide it from a really bad 80s reference to a song. But some people will get it. Most people will not.
As excited I was when you trade up for a kicker. Okay.
Well, I mean, at least you'd cut another one.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, let me explain how all this works here. Flaming 5 and 5 goes like this. I will ask Cheese 5 questions. If Cheese can get them before the flames overtake him in the 5 minutes, then he will not engulf in flames. We'll just throw them all out. We'll extinguish them and they'll be done and we'll go on with the show. If not, well, I guess I'll pull up Isaac and then he and I will do the rest of the show together and maybe I won't regret bringing on 2 Packers writers at the same time. So either way, I'm sure it's going to work out fine. And I'm sure that Cheese is going to get all of them before the 5 minutes he usually does. So
Maybe.
All right. Without further ado here, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off with a baseball question. We're going to start off with your Cubs in a baseball question. Let's start the music in the background, and here we go. All right, so the timer will start. When I finish reading the first question, Cheese, here it is. The Chicago Cubs have multiple businesses that have seats on top of them where fans can watch Wrigley Field from them. Now, Cubs management doesn't like it, and they've got an ongoing court battle that took another turn this past Friday. So, Cheese, do the Cubs have a beef with all of these places that have the seats on top where people can watch the game from there?
Oh yeah, this has been going on for a long time. So people do not know there's it's basically in the north side of Chicago, Wrigley Field. It's downtown. I've been to it. There's just buildings everywhere, and there's buildings across the street where they have rooftops and they can watch the game from the rooftops. But what the Cubs are trying to say is, you guys get profit for that. You sell tickets, but everyone else, like we don't profit off that. You know, we should get at least some of that money. But everybody, you guys are basically getting it for whoever owns the building gets it for free, can just sell tickets. How is that fair? So, and the rooftops, it's always been a thing. They showed the rooftops when I was a kid watching Harry Carey, so it's kind of cool. But so I can see both sides. I mean, they have, I guess the buildings are there, but the Cubs have just been like, you're making money off of us and other people are paying. How is that fair? So they definitely have beef. It's probably going to get ugly.
Okay. Well, we'll see how ugly it'll get. We'll go to question number 2 and say this. The NFL does a great job of feeding the fans like little tidbits of information throughout the off season. So it almost feels like the season never ends. But Cheese, I want to know this. Why does everybody go crazy over this stupid schedule release? We basically already know the teams. We just don't know the dates and times. So why do we all go crazy over it?
I don't know. I don't go crazy for it. Of course, I look at it. I will make a video on my channel about it. Of course I will. But
it's like going crazy to me.
Well, it's important for the people that want to go to a game. Like I want to go to one game or two games, and then you can plan according to that. So it's important for those, but it's just something. It's just football. You know, nothing goes on in May after the draft until training camp. It's just something. That's what the NFL puts in the middle of May. The draft's kind of died out. Let's have something else. You know, they want to try and make the NFL relevant year round, but people just, we're playing this, and I guess primetime games are a big deal, or holiday games. So maybe they're going crazy for that.
Okay, and we will look at the 7 games that we know so far. We'll take a look at those at the end of this segment here. So The Brewers have hit the fewest home runs at 26, yet they've also allowed the fewest at 30. So there's not a lot of homers in Brewers games by either side. Does this mean that the games are less exciting, Cheese?
The Brewers games?
Yes.
Yes. Brewers have never been exciting. I don't remember. The last time I was like excited to watch a Brewers player was probably CC Sabathia, and he made like 18 starts for them or something like that. So like when he went on that run, but there's nothing exciting. There's not one thing about the Brewers you say I have to watch. Maybe that Jacob Mizorowski guy. But as far as bats, no, there's no one that really makes you want to watch.
All right, sir. So 4 questions out of 5. Here's the 4th one. Week 1 gives us LSU versus Clemson for college football. And the first Monday night football game gives us Denver and Kansas City. Which game are you looking more forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to both, obviously. Week 1 of college football is there's no preseason. You just don't know like how good teams are going to be. I would absolutely have said LSU Clemson last year, but Clemson stunk. They stunk last year, and they just lost a ton to the draft. So they could be bad. I don't know about I just don't know. So if I had to pick, I'd probably say Denver, Kansas City. I must always go for the college game week 1.
All right. I'm going to make sure I'm going to concentrate and try to get this name right. So Munataka.
Murakami.
Yeah, Murakami. Yeah, I had it better earlier, but that's all right. Is on pace to hit 62 home runs, drive in 120 runs, walk 120 times, and strike out 245 times. He's the newest guy that's kind of the 3 true outcomes. Would you take this production on your team, even though he's going to have 245 strikeouts projected?
Yes. I mean, you have to take that production. At least he's walking a lot. If he was striking out a ton and not walking, then I don't think so. Like, kind of reminds me like Adam Dunn kind of numbers.
Mhm.
But yeah, you take that. You absolutely take it. You wish you put the ball in play more. Absolutely wish you do, because when you know this, when you put the ball in play, anything can happen. But 62 homers, 120 walks, that's insane. We'll see if he keeps it up. A lot of times pitchers will adjust to the hitter because he came over from Japan. But yeah,
Right.
I would take it. I'm assuming you would as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, they're never gonna, that's never gonna happen as far as those actual numbers. But it looks good. Looks good on paper. All right. Oh, you did it, buddy. You did it.
Okay.
Oh, you did it. You did it. I just had it. Oh, snot.
Okay. I just saw zero. I wasn't really paying attention to the count. I just saw zero. I was like, oh God, I'm dead.
No, you were good. I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to get the stats here for the 7 games that we know. I'm looking for the tweet here. You'll see me staring off to the left. I apologize. I thought I had it pulled up faster than this. Gosh, I put out a lot of stuff on this account in the last hour or so. It's buried. All right, we'll get to it in a minute.
Okay.
So before we do all that, buddy, there's a question I'm going to ask you here at the end. The bonus question is this, and then we'll bring in our buddy Isaac here. The Yankees rank last in MLB in hitting singles. You got to follow me with this logic here for a second. The Braves, or your Braves, have the best record in the MLB and lead Major League Baseball in singles. The
Okay.
Rays have the best record in the AL,
Mhm.
and they lead the American League in singles. Is all this a coincidence? Are singles more important than we think? Or is there a bigger story here, Cheese?
I think singles are more important than you think. When you don't strike out and you put the ball in play, you're going to get more singles. And that's, obviously a home run is worth a lot more than a single, but singles more consistent. It'll happen more often. So you're probably going to, win more close games. Like Yankees have the worst record, even though they're like the 4th or 5th best record in baseball. They have the worst record in 1-run games this year. They're like 3-9. So, yeah, I think they need to play more small ball. I think home runs happen against probably usually the worst pitchers. The worse the pitcher is, more likely you hit a homer off of. So Yankees got to find a way to get more singles, because that's how you beat good pitching. Sometimes you got to slap a single the other way against the elite, the best of the best, because the best pitchers don't give up home runs. So yeah, I think that makes sense why the Braves and Rays are have such good records, and the Braves are winning tonight.
Who are they playing tonight? They're playing somebody big, right?
Yeah, they're playing the Cubs. It's one of those things I'm kind of glad we're doing the show. I don't like watching the Cubs and Braves. Those are my 2 teams, because every time like something happens, like, yes, ooh, like I'm very torn. Yeah, hopefully, one team takes 2 or 3, then there's no sweep,
Right. Okay. Well, I can't find it. I don't know where it went to. I don't know. I had
you
it
looking
here
for?
somewhere. Adam Schefter had the 7 games that we already know.
Well, I'll say this: we know Thanksgiving is Dallas is hosting Philadelphia. I was bummed because I was like, oh, I'm not far from Dallas. I could drive there. I could get up Thanksgiving morning, go. But then I realized that the Packers are playing the Dallas Cowboys at home. I thought they were playing on the road, so I can't go to the game. So that was disappointing. When I was looking at the opponents, I don't know why I thought they had Dallas at home. And we talked about the Spanish game.
Correct. Now we know the first Monday night football game as well. We know that.
I could go to New Orleans.
Denver.
They play in New Orleans. That's actually about as close as Dallas.
Okay.
I could go to New Orleans. Yeah, we'll see. Depending on what day. I don't. If it's a Monday night game, I hate that. I don't want to. I went to a Monday night game once in Baltimore, Green Bay Packers, Baltimore Ravens, and it was cold and it was awful. So I don't like Monday night games, at least in person.
There's you guys' buddy. I tell you what, let's leave that comment up here. Let's pull up Isaac here real quick. All right, I'm going to add Isaac to it. You'll have to give me a second, because then I've got to make it a 3-person deal. And hang on. There we go. All right, there we go. There's Isaac.
Hey,
all right,
guys.
so, I'm sure both of you remember who this is. You got Mr. Nerd over here.
Arcadia.
Guys, putting a message up for us. We had him on our big NFL draft special. And then they're asking Cheese a question here. Let's see. Would you rather have?
Do you have a noose? Do I have to pick? Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm not a fan of James Gladstone at all. If anyone who watches my channel,
The guy does, or he wouldn't ask you the question this way.
just trashed his draft.
Mhm.
Well, look, Stephen Jones has a lot more influence than he used to. So I can't. I'm saying this, but probably Jerry. At least they've drafted Caleb Downs. So, but that was a good question.
Now we're going to have a battle back and forth here. I think this is going to be nice this time. I'm liking this. I can see the things before everybody else. So you know, he's asking you if you're really upset about not watching Green Bay live.
I wanted to go see him in Dallas. I want to go see him this year, and I have a friend that lives just outside of Dallas. Johnny, you watching? He watches sometimes, but and we could have gone to the game. And I really wanted to be Thanksgiving because I could just get up Thanksgiving morning and drive there. But so I can go to New Orleans though.
This might be a first. The person who was on the show is actually tweeting the people who were not on the show. This might be a first right here.
Me and him do that. He does that while we're on the show with me. We both like to multitask. He'll literally be dropping comments while, whether we're doing an interview or whatever, because me and him do a show together, and we both do this all the time. He'll drop questions in the comments before we even hit the topic. It's pretty fun.
All right. Sounds good. So let's go ahead and introduce everybody, right? We got Cheese in the middle. Nobody cares who I am. And then we got Isaac over here. He is our guest host today. He is also a Packers fan. Isaac, tell us where people can find you at, buddy.
You can find me on Twitter. I'm probably switching the show to Wednesday nights. We actually got a show tomorrow. But you can find me on Wednesdays around 9 p.m. Eastern. And with Nerdcadia, he's my co-host. You can find me on Twitter. I make daily posts on there. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all on Fun Football Podcast or handle Fun Football Pod. But I make daily posts. I talked about the Cowboys today. I just dropped a short. I just do random stuff. Fantasy football, Packers. He's a Bears fan, unfortunately, so we have to talk about them sometimes too. You know, they actually were relevant for the first time in like 10 years, you know, this last season. So, and, you know, unfortunately that playoff game happened. We'll talk about it. But yeah, it's been a fun off season. It's been a little weird as a Packer fan because we didn't have a first round pick. But yeah, we'll get into it.
All right, so I'm gonna spring something on the two of you that I didn't tell either one of you was coming. So we're gonna do a little bit of trivia kind of thing. Then I'll put the top 10 on the screen with us because now the old man over here is learning how to put pictures up on the screen while we do everything. He's all proud of himself, so he's got to do it 4 or 5 times a podcast now. So I'll give you guys a second or two to think about it. Over the last 10 seasons,
Okay.
who has the most receiving yards in the NFL? Top 10. Last 10 seasons, most receiving yards. I'll let each of you take a guess. I'll tell you where that guess falls on the top 10, if it does, and then I'll show you the top 10. And you may be surprised by somebody on this list. I'll just give you that. That's a terrible picture, by the way, Isaac. You look like a Pez dispenser. So you probably don't even know what a Pez dispenser is. You're too young.
I'm actually older than I look. I do know what a Pez dispenser.
Okay,
I don't know.
all right. Well,
I might be older than Cheese, actually. I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't know about that, but you know, he's not ancient or anything, but you know.
I'm almost 40, if you can believe it. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Might be. I don't know.
I do
notice how Cheese is avoiding this question. He's like a girl, not wanting to say how old he is or anything over here.
I mean, there might be a 4 in front of my age now.
Okay,
you know?
okay. Well, there's a 5 in front of mine, so that's okay. So
I get it.
we're all good here. All right, so Cheese, I'm going to start with you. Give me someone who you think will be on this top 10 list. The top 10 receiving yards over the last 10 seasons.
I mean, there are 2 names immediately jumped out.
You want anybody on the list?
Yeah, I want anybody on the list, but let me start with Cheese, Isaac. Give me just a second. I'm going to get a name from Cheese, and I'll get a name from you. All right? Go ahead, Cheese. Give me a name, buddy.
2 that immediately popped in my head. That
okay.
Devontae Adams. I mean.
All right. So Devontae Adams. Yep, he is on the list.
Yeah.
Isaac, give me one that you think is going to be on this list.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. Wow. Now wait till you see this. I'm thoroughly impressed, gentlemen. There's the list. You guys got
I don't
one.
get. I was gonna say
I've
Mike
seen it
Evans.
recently. I've seen it recently.
I thought we were gonna keep going. I was gonna say Mike Evans next.
Oh yeah,
No.
I wanted to do the whole thing because
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
going
I
to say
know.
Justin Jefferson.
Oh, I was
and then
gonna say
getting the
Cooper Cup
last few-
too.
Getting the last
few
few was going to be hard. I was going to say Mike Evans.
Oh man,
I don't think if receiving yards eventually we would have said Kelsey.
I would have said Cooper.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Hopkins is that far up there because he hasn't done much the last couple of years. Keenan Allen. The biggest surprise on that list, though, and maybe it shouldn't be, is Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of Cooper.
I wouldn't have thought of him as good of a player as he is. So that's impressive.
Personally, I was a little surprised that Jefferson was that low. Is it that he's not been in the league as long as some of the rest of these guys? Is that what it is?
He was 2020. He came in the league in 2020. He's the first round pick. Yeah,
And he had a bad year last year, and he's been banged up. So what has he had? 5 full seasons? 6? Not even?
yeah, he's really good.
That's
It's
just
really good.
really impressive.
Really,
that's,
really good.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, so Cooper
That's
Cup at
crazy.
the bottom, Justin Jefferson, then you got Amari Cooper, you got Keenan Allen, who honestly I forgot about, DeAndre
Wow.
Hopkins, then Stephon Diggs, Mike Evans, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and Devontae Adams. I wasn't sure if you guys would get Devontae Adams or not, but I saw it that it was a Packer, that it was at the top, and I was
Sure.
like, oh, I got to do it. Got to
Never
never
heard
heard
of We missed him. We missed him. I'm impressed Jefferson is ahead of somebody with only 6 seasons under his belt. That's massively, and really not even 6. He missed half a year. So 5.5 years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love it.
And, I mean,
we got
he
all
hasn't
kinds of
always had the
comments
best
over here. Hold
quarterback
on, let me
play,
try to
too.
get to all these here.
He's never played with like a really good quarterback.
He's had one good season with maybe
Cousins.
a season and a half of Cousins and one good year of Darnold.
No,
That's it.
Yeah.
is that true, Isaac?
Oh, I live in Dallas and I hate them. I hate the Cowboys,
Okay.
man. I not only hate the Cowboys, but I love that they exist because it's so much fun to have a team to make fun of. Like the Bears, I love their history and they're one of my rivals. But I love the Cowboys that they exist because I remember when they were great when I was little. I'm actually old enough to remember when I was like 5 years old, I was pissed because the Cowboys beat us and it was 3 years in a row. I remember being 7 thinking, are we ever going to beat this team? That's one of my first memories. And that was the last time the Cowboys were really good. So it's been a long time. It's been 30 years. I've enjoyed it. I hope it continues. Jerry makes it fun. I love it.
Jerry makes it
Yeah.
fun.
He does.
Yeah,
He
I
does.
just made a video on my channel about the Cowboys. I said they made the best and worst moves of the offseason, in my opinion. So I just made a video on that because it's the
What
Cowboys.
is
They're
the-
going to make something. They're going to do something dumb every year.
What was the worst moves? Because I've actually liked their draft. a lot.
Trading for Rashawn Gary and giving up any draft capital for a player that was going to be released anyway.
That was a bad move, but they only give up a 4th. But the fact that they're paying him as much as they're paying him, that's why the Packers let him go because he wasn't worth it.
Well, you gave up any draft capital for him.
I know.
You could have
We
just signed
keep
someone
going-
better
we-
and not given up any draft capital. It's just, and next year's draft's going to be amazing. So
We keep fleecing this team, but they got a pass rusher in the draft from us, so that was interesting. That trade, though, I'll wait for the question, but we'll talk about that trade. That trade was interesting.
All right, well, I like this. We're already bantering back and forth, and it's not
Oh, yeah.
all Green Bay Packers stuff. We're throwing some Cowboy stuff in here. So Cheese gave us 4 questions. I'm going to take the first 2 questions because I know I'm not really going to talk a whole lot during these questions. So I'm just going to be like the moderator in between here. I'll ask the first 2, and then I'll give the last 2 to Cheese. So here we go with the first question. The Packers have been the 7th seed 3 straight seasons with only 1 playoff win in that stretch. Yet Matt LaFleur was not only not fired, but he was instead extended despite blowing a 21-3 halftime lead against the rival Chicago Bears. So, Isaac, right or wrong move in your opinion, sir?
When Bears fans are excited that you're re-signing your coach, you know you've got a problem. And there's one in the chat right now, and he's not the only one. I know of 3 or 4 personally, and I guarantee you more Bears fans were excited. When they're excited that we're re-signing a coach, you know it's not the right guy. When he looks terrified in the 3rd quarter up, yeah, Matt LaFleur. You can put. I'm seeing Med's comment, Nerdcadia. This guy is a solid coach. He knows how to get you to the playoffs. I do not believe if our aspirations are Super Bowls, which, to be honest, when you go for Micah Parsons and you've got a talented squad, your aspirations should be Super Bowl. Early in the season, we were pretty darn good before he got hurt. He's not the guy. He's just not. He's good, but not great. And I think he struggles with player relations now. That's come out a bunch. I also think he just struggles on how to close a game. And that is a skill that really can't be taught. It's being calm under pressure, having ice in your veins, kind of like Joe Montana as a player. But there are coaches that keep cool under pressure, and I don't see it with him. It's happened multiple playoff games now where when the game was hanging in the balance, I've seen him falter with decision making, and really just confidence. You can see it. He looked scared when we were up by 2 scores in the third quarter, and you shouldn't be scared when you're up by 2 scores against a team with a rookie head coach and a second-year QB. You should be confident. And not only did we we gave up 25 points in the fourth quarter, but I just questioned the guy's play calling. I was praying we would bring in a play caller for offense. We lost our DC. I'm not hating the hire they got, though. Actually, I like it. But I personally have big questions about him and Goody. Of the two, if you force me to pick one, and he's right, that's right, the kicker is to blame too. But when people put the game on Love, I'm like, hold on. Love had 4 TDs, 0 interceptions, had 1 bad quarter. Our kicker misses 2 field goals and extra point. The coach looks like he's lost. I put on those 2 guys first, and then I put on the GM for some of the way he team builds. But I don't think there's any reason you should have brought LaFleur back, and then they extended him. I think it's a mistake. I'm tired of being the 7th seed. We're the Green Bay Packers. I want championships, and I don't see it with him. I just don't. Until we get to a conference championship game or the Super Bowl, I'm not going to believe it. So I would have let him go personally.
All right. So, geez, you put the second part of this question out there, with general manager Brian Gutekunst was also retained and given a contract extension despite struggling with first-round picks since Jordan Love back in 2020. So I'm going to give you both parts of the question, Cheese, even though I already know these answers. Was it right or wrong for them to bring back LaFleur, and was it right or wrong for them to bring back Gutekunst?
Well, obviously, if you're regular to the show, you know I think Matt LaFleur is awful. I think he's one of the worst coaches in the NFL. He's not just scared; he's too conservative. Yeah, he's scared. He plays not to lose and always seems to. And he will not let Jordan Love some games just open up and throw it down the field. He'll call screens and dump offs. It's like, and he was even conservative with Aaron Rodgers. It's like, these guys aren't going to throw a lot of picks. They don't do it. They're accurate. They have good ball placement. They're not going to make mistakes. So what are you doing? He's the worst possible coach for this kind of team. It just drives me insane when on TV they're like, one of the best play callers on ESPN. He's one of the best play callers in the game. No, he's not. He's one of the worst play callers in the game. And Jordan, you mentioned Jordan Love. 4 touchdowns, no picks, almost 5. If Christian Watson is ready for that ball, it's 5 touchdowns, no picks. They win the game. He puts a ball right on the hands of Jaden Reed down the field on the sidelines, dropped in the last drive. I'm just so sick and tired of elite quarterback play in the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love plays elite in the playoff game, and they still lose because of coaching, defense, and special teams. Every other team, if their quarterback plays elite, they're going to win the playoffs. Every single team in the NFL, except for the Green Bay Packers. And it's just become their culture. Losing in the playoffs, games they have a lead and should win. It started with It's Mike McCarthy and Matt LaFleur. They're both very similar. Second part of your question, Brian Gutekunst, he should have been gone years ago. He for some reason, he will not take – he would not draft Christian Gonzalez. He took Lucas Van Ness. He would not draft Cooper DeJean, took Jordan Morgan. Every single casual fan, not even someone who is a regular follower of the draft, watch college football, those players are much better. Maybe because they're corners. You won't take a corner in the first round after missing on Eric Stokes. I don't know. But those are no-brainer picks that any idiot could make. And he reaches – for Lucas Van Ness and Jordan Morgan two players that really weren't that great in college that have really good athletic traits, but they're not great football players. So after that, he should have been gone years ago. But Ed Policy and them, the three of them are drinking buddies, so they're going to get extensions. There's no owner to hold them accountable. So I think Goody's a little better than the floor, but that's not saying much.
All right, gentlemen.
Similar.
So
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with the Goody thing. Like, he's made some solid moves. I don't think LaFleur is one of the worst coaches. I just think if you have high aspirations, it's kind of like doing what the Steelers do. You keep putting a Band-Aid on it. Like, the Steelers need to suck so they can get their franchise QB, and instead they're relying on a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers to be 8-9 or 9-8. It's like, do we want to keep being a 9-10 win team, which is better than most? But I'd like to go shoot for the moon. Like, when Harbaugh was available, there were other coaches available that would have been better fits than LaFleur. And
Kevin Stefanski would have been better.
I
would have Mike
that,
McDaniel.
actually.
I really wanted Mike McDaniel. There's so many better coaches.
I don't know about him.
Look, he won 7 games with that Dolphin roster. He should have won Coach of the Year. Should be in the Hall of Fame for winning 7 games with that Dolphin roster.
I don't know if I could do McDaniel, man.
I'd love his press conference.
Oh, I mean, it would be high entertainment, but there are other guys. If you could have coaxed Tomlin, the only good thing that could happen here is maybe we miss the playoffs or do the same crap for another year or two, and then Tomlin gets available and you go get him. Because even though I know he didn't win a playoff game for a long time in Pittsburgh, the fact that he got that dragged teams to the playoffs every year that didn't belong there, I would love to go grab him. But I don't know. I honestly, I hate to say it, I think we've got a very talented roster. I don't have a lot of confidence because I think our coach is just going to keep us in this wild card range, and
he's the worst coach in the division too. Every division game, he's going to be outcoached. Every single one. You already know. The other three coaches are better.
The Lions might have a problem if they don't get the right coordinators. The Lions, I think, are going to be on a downward slide, and the Vikings are banking on Kyler Murray. And just wait till Call of Duty comes out, and that guy's going to suck. And then you've got JJ McCarthy. So we're likely to be first or second in the division again. We're banking on one guy right now, 2 really. We're banking on Love, and what we're really banking on is Micah Parsons getting healthy or Tucker Kraft, because our team. We were a one-man show last year. When Mike was out there, we were a borderline elite team. When he wasn't, our defense was awful. It went from 6th to a lot of metrics in the low 20s. That shouldn't happen from one guy.
All right, so you're doing a really good job here of setting us up for this next question. So let's go with
that
here.
Show, so sorry. I forgot I did the next one. My bad. Sorry, dude.
It's okay. So one of the reasons that Cheese loved the Micah Parsons trade was because he knew that Goody was just going to screw up the picks anyway. So why not just get Micah Parsons and get those 2 first-round picks? So with that being said, and the fact that you can't get great value out of Hall of Fame type players, Isaac, do you think the Packers clearly won the trade? And why do you think Cowboys fans think that they won the trade?
They think they won the trade because they got a bunch of picks and they parlayed one of them into a defensive lineman. That's good for them. They got the guy from the Jets, and they honestly they got Malachi Lawrence. Good for them. I don't think they did win the trade. They do have another first next year, and that draft is amazing. So good for them. And that is the way to rebuild your. The weird thing is, I think you're better off with a guy like Micah, though. You watch the difference he made on our roster, and even though he tore his ACL, I still would pick that trade 100 times out of 100 because we never take swings like that. I love that we actually, even though he might have been the wrong guy, but I actually think he's going to flash more this year. But they went and drafted a receiver in the first round last year. This is after signing Josh Jacobs and McKinney. So we've been more aggressive. Goody has been more aggressive, even though he whiffs on first round picks. He signs Jacobs and McKinney. The next offseason, he drafts 2 receivers early. Then he trades for Micah Parsons. So I got to give Goody credit where he's messing up in some ways. But I think we've clearly won the trade. The problem is we got to make the most of this now. You're paying a Micah Parsons. We've got to be able to roster fill around him. It's like paying a quarterback. The problem is the Cowboys tend to miss on first-round picks too, and I have no confidence Malachi Lawrence is going to pan out. Caleb Downs will, but that was their pick. Malachi Lawrence was our pick. Good luck with that. we'll see.
Cowboys have a good history of first round picks, minus 23 in 2023 and 2024 when they reached on Massey Smith and Tyler Guyton. But if you go back, Jerry Jones, his strength was like just sitting there and taking players that fell, like Zach Martin, like Micah Parsons. So he's DeMarcus Ware, CeeDee
He just
Lamb.
hits more on the first rounders than
the
late
mid-round
rounds.
picks. They haven't had a lot.
Goody's got a gift with late and some second and third round picks.
Second, fourth round. Just look at sixth round. He hits on those guys. He finds starters there. But why not find starters? First round should be easier. He keeps drafting guy with traits. He drafted a 4.29 40 wide receiver because he ran a 4.29. It's like, we'll see what happens with Golden, but I would have taken someone else there. It's just, it's like his whole philosophy is different in the first round than other rounds.
The Bears receiver that they took, I would have taken Burton, but Golden might pan. He actually had a good playoff game. I'd like to see him get more opportunity. He did, and their defense situationally played great. They played good against us, and they were like that all year.
So let's go with the joke here, right? Med just can't help himself. What do you call a drug ring in Dallas? A huddle. Okay. Anyway, Cheese, what do you think about that? That's another thing from that Med's putting out there.
I was not high on Van Ness at all.
That's a good point.
So what Van Ness was in college is when he was successful, that's because he was just more athletic than the offensive tackle. I didn't see any pass rush moves. If you watch him in Iowa, there was no pass rush moves. He just was more athletic, better length, and And Mel Kiper said it best. I was watching, ESPN when he was drafted. He said, if he hits everything, if all the ceiling with his athleticism, he can be Nick Bosa. But if he does, but he's got a lot of work to do. He's got so much work to get there. And Goody keeps taking players like that, like the guys that just, if everything works out, he has super high ceiling. It worked for a while with Rashawn Gary. It did. But most of those players that have high upside but have a long way to go, most of those bust. So you shouldn't use a first round pick, fourth round pick, fifth round pick, a guy with a super high ceiling hasn't put together. That's fine. Do it. But first round, you should draft like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You should draft like the Baltimore Ravens. We're going to take the best player on the board, the real productive college players. And Goody, for some reason, he changes his philosophy in the first round and takes traits and will pass on Jackson Smith and Jigba and Christian Gonzalez, two players I wanted. They were perfect fits, and just, Lucas Van Ness. But look at his combine. Look at how he does with a t-shirt and shorts. He's amazing, and it's crazy.
I can look good in a t-shirt and shorts.
And I really like the Brandon Cisse pick.
It doesn't mean I should be out there trying to sack people. Van Ness has 8.5 sacks in 3 years. So maybe we should draft on some college production for once.
And then picked up his option. And then they picked up his option. But no, I really like the Brandon Cisse pick.
No, that one, he's raw, but I actually can see it. Even though he's shorter, he's physical. And if they can coach him up a little, I can actually see that one. But that's a second round pick again. It ain't a first. This isn't, you just said it's not rocket science. Jordan Morgan's available. You know who else is available? You said it, Cooper DeJean. Come on.
No brainer.
Come on.
What a perfect fit he would have been. Oh my God. And then he gets his rookie year, gets a pick 6 in the Super Bowl. It's just like we could have had that guy. Yeah.
Damn, dude. This is not tough stuff, dude. Like you said it. There were so many other players available. It's not like he's whiffed on every single pick, but oh God.
He got off to a good start with first round picks. He got Jair Alexander, Rashawn Gary, and Jordan Love, but then he missed on Darnell Savage. But 3 of the first 4 were very good. And then he just, I don't know what it is. He's obsessed with the high ceiling in the first round. And you should do the opposite. You should take the most productive player in college on your board, like Tampa Bay, Emeka Egbuka, Ruben Bate. Those are guys who are amazing in college. Take the most productive player. Baltimore Ravens, they take Kyle Hamilton. They take Ioane, guard from Penn State. That's the kind of players he needs to take, and he doesn't. He takes traits.
And it sucks because in other rounds he does this. So it's like he abandons his philosophy in the first round. And the problem is, you know what? If you force me to choose between Goody and LaFleur, I'd actually keep Goody over LaFleur. He's done more. He's done more, even though he does this like bargain bin shopping where he only picks certain positions in one draft and neglects others. He's hit on a lot of picks. It's just a weird way to build a team, and you can see there's some holes. Like this year, it was not a super deep class, but we kind of needed a running back after letting Wilson go, or a backup QB. Now they signed Tyrod Taylor, so that's fine. That'll probably work for a season. And there wasn't a lot of QBs anyways. But like after letting we let Romeo Dubs go, and we lost somebody else.
Tavian Wicks
traded
was
Wicks.
traded to the
We
Eagles.
traded Wicks.
Yeah.
So we lost two guys to open the door for Golden and Savion, but we probably need to pick somebody up. Bo Melton is our fifth receiver right now.
Well, they did sign Sky Moore. He's probably going to be mainly a return man.
Don't talk about Sky Moore. Matt's going to just have a field day. He keeps joking every year. We keep signing our number one receiver. Last year was McCole Hardman to be our freaking returner, and he wasn't even good at that. And now you sign Sky Moore. Stop picking up returners.
You want MVS back.
You know what? Give me MVS over those guys, even though he'll catch one pass. Like, come on. Like, dang, man. Honestly, I was hoping that they would actually offer the Rams a deal for Devontae, even though he's aging. I thought he would have been perfect for a season or two on this team. We just need somebody to take the pressure off in case Watson gets hurt again. Because is it going to be Jaden Reed? Like, who's going to be our go-to guy if Tucker Kraft isn't healthy? Watson's made of glass.
That Reed, Golden is the only answer I can think of. Is
like, what's the plan? That's a bad plan. It's a bad plan.
Yeah. Jaden Reed's just even when he's healthy, like God, some games he will just have horrible drops. Just horrible drops. They extended him. I get why they did, but I think Golden is they're going to count on Golden to step up if anyone gets hurt.
All right, guys, you're here with us on the Lights Out Sports Podcast. You got Cheese in the middle. You got Isaac on the far right. He is our guest today. He is from Fun Football Podcast. Gentlemen, you were talking about the offense a little bit. Let's dive a little more into the offense. Now, it's a little bit of a long question here, but I just want to go ahead and throw this whole thing out here because I'm afraid I'm not going to get to talk again and ask the rest of the questions. So the Packers should have one of the better offenses in the NFL this season. I mean, they've got Jordan Love, for God's sake. You got Josh Jacobs. You got Tucker Kraft. You got Christian Watson. You got Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden. But however, the offensive line kind of worries some of us besides Zach Tom at right tackle. So which of the four players worries you the most? And Isaac, I'll start with you. Which of these four? Left tackle Jordan Morgan, left guard Aaron Banks, the catcher Sean Ryan, or right guard Anthony Belton? Which one of those four worries you the most, and which one worries you the least? And if I pronounce any of those names wrong, just correct me. It's fine.
I'm probably still honestly worried about Morgan, but the problem is that if you put him at guard, I think it works. Ryan, I actually think at center is going to be great. Tom at tackles, obviously the best guy. You didn't even list him. I actually am not super worried about Belton. I'm worried about the left side with Morgan and Banks because Banks didn't really play up to his deal last year at all. The offensive line was a sneaky problem for us last year. They were 22nd overall, I think, in DVOA. The center and the right tackle are the two guys I'm not worried about, but I'm really worried about Morgan's going to have to step up in Banks, and that's the most important. That's the blind side for those two guys. It's the left tackle and left guard. Those two guys have got to anchor this line, and if they don't, I'm worried we're going to have some problems because not only was the run blocking not where it should be last year, but the pass protection, Jordan Love took too many hits. I think Cheese can attest to it, and that can't be a weakness for us anymore. Like, we started winning on the defensive line last year, and you win games in the trenches on both sides of the ball. And if our offense, if we want it to take a step forward, we need to have more time for Jordan Love. We need to have more running lanes for Josh Jacobs and hopefully Marshawn Lloyd or somebody, maybe Chris Brooks. They re-signed him. This line has got to step up, and I feel like this is another Goody problem. He drafted Morgan, and he is not even close to live up. He has not lived up even like remotely close yet. He has to take a step forward this year. It's a tie between him and Banks because last year's free agency was not good for us. We signed Nate Hobbs. He's already been cut. And Banks did not. That was a bad signing. He was banged up and did not play well. Those are the two. I actually like the center. Belton's decent. I don't know. I don't love our offensive line either. We've got some problems on the offensive side of the ball. Cheese, what do you think?
So here's the thing. You can go into a season with maybe two question marks on your offensive line. You cannot have 4 question marks. I think there are 4 question marks. But Zach Tom is great at right tackle. The Seahawks had questionable spots at both guards. They drafted one, Gray Zabel. Still had a bad right guard, but one. They had one questionable spot, won the Super Bowl. Jordan Morgan, not only did he not live up to the first round pick, he's got short arms. He's been wildly inconsistent, and they don't have a good backup if he fails. There's no swing tackle or backup tackle with Rasheed Walker gone. Aaron Banks, he sucked last year. He wasn't just a bad free agent signing overpaid. He sucked. He was like playing like a 6th or 7th round pick. He was terrible. I don't think Sean Ryan's a very good center at all. You just kind of like him. I mean, I guess he is the 2nd best offensive lineman. That's sad.
It's not great.
Anthony Belton at right guard was a very good run blocker, but he was really bad in pass blocking. And to me, I'm looking at Morgan and I'm looking at Belton. I'm like, their hand placement's bad. Their technique is bad. Like, who is Anthony Belton? Like, his pass protection, his technique, the way he uses his hands, that's you're not supposed to do at all. Like, who is coaching these guys up? So if the coaching staff doesn't know how to like teach these guys, then like, what is going on? Why aren't they firing Luke Buckus, offensive line coach, or Adam Sinovich, the offensive coordinator? Why do they still have work? Probably because they're Matt LaFleur's buddies. But that's what I'm seeing, and I honestly think this offensive line has a chance to be a disaster. And I just don't think you can have more than 1 or 2 question marks on it. And what if they don't stay healthy? I mean, there's not even a whole lot behind it. So if their offense fails, it's because of the offensive line, I think.
And we grabbed a center in the 5th round who I've actually heard could be decent, but we only picked up 1 offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. I like the kicker pick. We'll hit the draft in a minute. But I feel bad. I'm trying not to give long-winded answers, but they were bad last year. They were 21st in pass blocking, 22nd in run blocking. Darian Kennard's getting snaps. We got to get somebody else up in there that's even close to the level of Tom. And he was solid, but he wasn't even great, but he was solid. They're ranked 27th overall right now. That is not going to lead to an elite offense. Like Jordan Love's going to
Super Bowl.
No, it could be the handicap because you've got talent at receiver, not extreme, but you've got talent. You've got, if Kraft's healthy, you've got a possible superstar tight end. You've got a good quarterback playing Love. You've got Josh Jacobs, but you've got to have protection and run lanes. And this is a problem I really wish we'd addressed earlier.
I just wait till Jordan Morgan has to go against Jared Verse and the Rams.
That's comment's hilarious.
No.
So yeah, we'll get to all of those here. So first of all, what about swinging for Tyreek Hill, or as Med's saying down here, what about any other receiver that's available? Do you guys need to go for that in the Green Bay Packer land?
No, I think they're set at receiver. I don't think they need anyone else. No, I don't. They're going to give Golden more snaps. They lost Dobbs and Wicks, but Golden's going to take more snaps, so but they'll be fine.
I actually disagree. I would love to go for AJ Brown. I don't think we have a number 1 receiver as bad as our offensive line is. If the Patriots deal falls through, getting a number 1, I would love it. I don't see the one on our roster. Watson's made a class. Jaden Reed has flashed some potential, but I feel like our offense would take another step like it did with Micah if we had one guy that was like gravity pulling everybody and taking attention off of all those other guys. Like when Watson is available, Jaden Reed and Golden, unless Golden takes a big step.
Yeah. So Med, the Packer offensive line's happy to see the Bears defensive line too. So there you go.
All right. So you guys wanted to talk about the draft a little bit. You guys mentioned it a second ago. Cheese, before you get to your other 2 questions, what about the draft? What do you want to ask Isaac about the Packers draft this year?
We'll talk about the draft, and I'll ask him about the kicking situation. But the draft, they drafted 6 players. I just want to see who your favorite pick was, and maybe what you thought was the most questionable of the 6 picks.
Well,
there's the shameless
plug for football. I liked the corner. I actually liked this draft for not having the first. I could go B- or B. It wasn't a bad draft. The problem I had was the positions. I liked the McClellan pick because we let Wooden go. We got Hargrave, but that was kind of a band-aid. He's in his early 30s, mid 30s. He could be solid, but I kind of like that they did that because they gave up Colby Wooden for Franklin in that deal after they let Quay Walker go. So there was a lot of rotating parts on our defense, which I'm actually less concerned about our defense. So I was so surprised that we went so defense heavy. I did like that we grabbed a kicker to replace. That might be my favorite pick. And then we doubled down on corner. I wanted McManus out of there. I was like, if we're not going to get our coach or GM as a scapegoat, get McMisses out of there. Get him out. McMisses needs to go. He was a huge reason we didn't make the second round of the playoffs. The problem I have isn't the players so much. I actually think Cisse could be our best corner right now. That's another position of weakness.
Yeah.
We needed to hit edge. I've heard good things about Dennis Sutton. We lost a lot of depth on edge. We lost Inagabre. We lost Rashawn Gary as well. And Micah's not going to be 100 early in the season. So you're relying on Van Ness and our 4th round pick from last year. It's a little scary.
Aaron Sorrell. They have Colin Oliver and Brenton Cox Jr. too for depth.
It's not a strong position group when Micah isn't in. So hoping it pans. I just was concerned that we didn't hit offensive line or any of the skill positions on offense. I thought that was a mistake. We only got one offensive lineman. We really needed probably 2 or 3.
All right.
Even late.
His favorite pick in the draft was the kicker. That's all
No.
I need to say. Go.
No, my least favorite was trading it for a kicker. Gave it 2 picks. You said it right. They needed more depth on offense, and they used 2 picks on a kicker. Most of the best kickers in the league actually weren't undrafted. So I wouldn't have done that, but I get why he did it. I would not have. But yeah, I like the Dennis Sutton pick. There were Packer beat writers mocking him in the 2nd round, 52nd overall, and it was losing my mind. Mike knows I was bitching about it on my channel. I was like, if they take that guy in the 2nd round, he's more of a 4th rounder, but they took him in the 4th round. That's a good pick. But Brandon Cisse is my favorite pick, South Carolina. Like you said, he could be the best corner right there. And I'll give Goody credit here. He brought in, I think 3 corners, 3 or 4 on top 30 visits, and they were all guys that were really good in man. And then he takes Brandon Cisse, who's much better in zone. So, and we know that Jonathan Gannon likes to play a lot of zone. I think he played 79% of zone in the last 3 years in Arizona. So it was surprising me. I was like, are they changing schemes? Are they going to play a lot of man? Nope. It was kind of a false flag, I think. And he took Cisse, and he also took the Alabama corner, whose name is escaping me. Damani Jackson, I think his name. Yeah.
Yeah. Good call. You got it.
Yeah. So they took guys that are pretty good in zone. So I think Cisse is a great fit. I think he's good at tackling. There was some bad film. He gave it some big plays, but like you said, he's raw, and I think he'll be a starter in the league. I was very happy with that pick. I had him 44th on the board. They got him at 52.
Yeah, Meta's just messing with you guys right now, so I had to put the comment on the bottom there. He's just toying with you guys. So speaking of toying with people, let's do it this way. I know you guys got 2 more questions to go to, but let me give our fans a little bit of what we're going to get to here after this Packers conversation is done here. We're going to talk about Bobby Cox, the late Bobby Cox. We'll give him his flowers here at the beginning of our MLB 4-pitch talk. We'll also do a spotlight on a player from the National League and the American League. We'll talk about the Rays, the Reds, and we'll talk about Cal Raleigh before this show is over. So you can look forward to all of those things right after we're done here with our Packers talk. Cheese in the middle, Isaac on the outside from the Fun Football Podcast. Go ahead, Cheese. Give us your 3rd question.
Well, just real quick, you want to talk about the kicker. They cut McManus. They trade up for Trey Smack. You said you wanted McManus gone. I mean, they lost. How many points did they lose by in the Bears game? I can't even remember now, 4 or 5. He left 7 points on the table. He missed 2 field goals, 1 extra point, including a field goal right before halftime. So you just
They lost by 4.
They lost by
4. And he left 7 points on the board.
Yeah, you were just ready for a change. Yeah, I think he knew it was coming. I'm just surprised they didn't do it like right after the draft. Okay,
Yeah.
So we're going to talk quarterbacks now, specifically Jordan Love versus Caleb Williams. Isaac, I saw your post on X. You asked.
Yeah.
Yes.
You saw that.
I did. You had a poll. Who was the better quarterback? Is Caleb Williams better or Jordan Love? Last I looked, Caleb Williams is actually leading the poll because
look.
clearly people are stupid.
64 to 36. I'm kind of sad.
Let me give you some
64%.
stats. Okay.
Yep.
EPA per play, which is expected points added. Love was second in the NFL. Caleb Williams was 17th. Completion percentage, Love 66.3%, Williams 58.1, and 58.1, and that's with a higher yards per attempt. So Love throws the ball down the field more, 7.70 for Love. That's yards per attempt. Williams was 6.94. So Love throws it down the field more and still at a higher completion percentage. There's more. CPOE, which is completion percentage over expected. Love was third with 5.5% over expected. Caleb Williams was 19th, negative 3.5 over expected. NFL quarterback WAR, wins above replacement. Love was third, only behind Matt Stafford and Dak Prescott. Caleb Williams was 14th. Okay, so I'm going to ask you now why people are voting in the poll the way they did. I'm going to give you some possibilities. You tell me if you agree with any of them. Is there another one I didn't point out? Are Bears fans flipping the poll? Is the media acting like Caleb Williams is better than he is? Is the media criticizing everything Jordan Love does wrong and never pointing out the good stuff he does? Does the casual fan only see the fourth quarter highlights and not the early game lowlights of Caleb Williams? Does the casual fan assume he's better because he's the first overall pick and Love was a late first round pick? Another reason, some of that, all of the above. You got the floor.
Well, here's the deal. They won the last stupid game, and it comes down to the whole team. But Caleb makes some highlight reel plays that are only few guys can make. He also has better weapons, better coaching, better system.
Much better.
He had better offensive line play. He had better running back play. Jacobs was hurt. He had 2 running backs. I would take his receivers over ours in a heartbeat. I'm sorry. I don't think it's like the biggest roster weakness, but I think if you stacked the 4 receiving cores in the division, I think the Packers are easily 4th. I would take the Lions in a heartbeat with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Laporta over anything like that. I would take the Vikings easily. That one's probably the best. Jefferson, Addison. Now you got Jawan Jennings and TJ Hawkinson. That's not fair. And the Bears now have drafted, and they let go of DJ Moore because he was expendable. Remember that. They have Robotunze, Luther Burden. you have Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet. That's just ridiculous. You have Swift, and Jacobs might be better than Swift. He probably is. But you also have Managai. It was a really good system. And yeah, Caleb is up and down. I think even Med can admit that. But so is Love. I think it's close. I think Caleb may have more potential, but I would love to see Love flip those guys. I would love to see what Love does with those weapons, with that blocking, with the coaching. I don't even think it's a game. I don't. I do think Love is the better quarterback right now. I think Caleb, if he hits his ceiling, it's going to be the best quarterback play the Bears have had in a long time. It already might be as inconsistent as he is down the field. He'll throw a dime and then he'll throw it out of bounds. The one thing that bothers me with Love is he gets complacent. And he does with the lead, and that's why I don't want to see him and LaFleur together anymore. They both seem to put their foot on the pedal hard, and then when they think they've got a game, this happened multiple times here against Chicago and other teams. They take their foot off the gas. Both of them do. And I think with Caleb, you saw some absurd plays in the Rams game as well the next week, and he makes some throws like that dime to Loveland when he was about to get tackled against the Packers that only a few guys can make. And I think that's what a lot of NFL people see. But right now, giving me everything, I would edge Jordan Love just a little bit, considering his supporting cast and coaching versus what Caleb had this year.
Well, the analytical stats say that he's significantly better, and I agree. I think I know that Caleb Williams made some great plays. I know he's had some really good fourth quarters, but you can't be bad for 2 or 3 quarters and then amazing in the fourth quarter and just all of a sudden he's better. Like that doesn't. I mean, 58%. He is just not a very accurate player, and people call him clutch. He had a horrible interception at the end of the Green Bay game in Green Bay. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
in the Rams playoff game in overtime, that was a horrible decision, a horrible throw right at the end
he,
to throw a
he
pick.
makes an amazing
Yeah.
play like the one before where he because he can scramble. He also can run more than Jordan Love. He does that scramble and then
he can.
the dime he throws. So you're getting some of the best stuff and some of the worst. If he can cut those bad elements out of his game, damn, is he going to be good. And the fact that he won a playoff game in his second year is pretty good.
He was amazing in that game.
Love didn't even play.
It was amazing. That's
Yeah.
what happens. Love has been Love. He was hurt against the Eagles the year before last. His elbow was hurt, so he wasn't good in that playoff game. He was terrible, but his throwing elbow was hurt. But
When
he's
he was
really been
against-
great in the postseason. He's been really good. That
Yeah.
Dallas game and the game against the Bears, he played very well. So
And he's cut his mistakes down. So is Caleb. The funny thing is, they're actually really similar players. They're both a little up and down. They actually, neither of them make a lot of turnovers. If you look at them, they're
Yeah, they
weird.
don't.
They're totally different players, but a lot of things stack up fairly evenly. I actually think these are the best two quarterbacks in the division. It sure as heck isn't Kyler Murray. And I love Jared Goff, but he turns into a pumpkin when he gets hit. I think you're looking at Jordan Love has the best arm in the division. Caleb has the most athleticism, and I think that it's going to be a fun division between those two. I don't think if both teams can build around those guys, I think the Packers and Bears, it's going to be a real rivalry for a long time, and it's going to be fun.
we just need a better head coach.
I agree.
He literally, the Packers should have won all 3 games. Like Matt LaFleur gave them 2 games. So, whatever.
All right,
I
gentlemen,
agree.
we're going to do a few other things here in just a second. Let me get a couple things up. Let's do, before you do your last question, Cheese, because I know you got a lot of quarterbacks to talk to or talk about here. Let's do this. Let me add this to the screen. I don't know how much you're going to be able to really see it because it's pretty small, but you've got strength of schedule right there, the NFL strength of schedule. Let me take this off there as well so you can get it. So it goes from Cardinals at the bottom. They have the strongest strength of schedule according to this particular graphic. And let me get the
Well, real quick, let me just what this is not strength of schedule based on win-loss last year. This is projected win total. One of the worst things that they do, oh, this team has the hardest schedule. Well, last year, if you had the Patriots on your schedule, it was way easier. But then they went to the Super Bowl. They went from 4 wins to 14. So why this is better is this is projected win total because we knew the Patriots were going to be way improved. So what this shows is a much better list. The Schultz report puts it out, Jordan Schultz, much better than the list that they're showing most of the time on X. Go ahead, Mike.
No, it's okay. So let me ask then a couple of things here that I see. Does this mean that Detroit and Cincinnati are going to make the playoffs because they have the easiest and third easiest schedules?
Yes.
Isaac?
The Lions might because
they will.
Well, it depends on the coordinator play and that defense because they're still going to play the Packers and Bears. And if the Vikings quarterback plays better, this division's going to be tough. The Saints are a really interesting team. I kind of like them with Shuck. And they've got Kellen Moore is at least a really good offensive mind. That's going to be an interesting team. The Bengals, that division is weird. I could see 2 of those 3 making the playoffs, actually. I think you'll get one from the AFC and one from the NFC.
All right.
I'll just say this about the Lions.
Yeah.
They're scheduled. They're playing a last place schedule. They've been playing a first place schedule for years. They underachieved at 9-8. They're better than that. They still have a really good roster. If I was predicting right now, I predict them to win the division. I absolutely would. Because you just still look at the roster. They're loaded. The interior offensive line's a question mark, but other than that,
the defense seems to always get hurt and underperform is my only concern.
We'll
and I really question if Campbell, I like him. I just don't know if that arrow is going to keep pointing up. I'm wondering if that little window where we thought they might be a Super Bowl team is already closed. Like as good as Goff is, when he's like you just said, the interior offensive line's under pressure. They did let Montgomery go. They still have Gibbs, but that was part of their identity. And the defense has just been perpetually banged up.
Well, I'll just say this. Look, while the Packers are playing Houston, they're going to play the Titans. While the Packers are playing the Rams, they're going to play the Cardinals. So they like the Bears last year. They're going to schedule.
They're going to chalk up some wins.
The Bears were playing the Raiders and they beat them. While the rest of the division played the Chargers, Broncos, and Chiefs, they all lost. So the Bears got that's a huge swing because they played a last place schedule. So I think the Lions, I think they're going to take advantage of it. And there's a reason why they're number one. They have the easiest schedule because they're playing a last place schedule. So looks like the Arizona Cardinals are screwed, Mike.
Yes, it does. It does.
Oh,
The
they for
Cardinals
sure.
should just. I think I said it earlier when I posted this on our X. The Cardinals should just start Carson Beck and see what they got and be done. Just throw Minshew and just throw Jacoby Ellsbury out the window and let somebody else have them. And
I have a theory.
oh, we love theories, sir. Go ahead.
When you mentioned the card, you messaged me before the show that you should just start Carson Beck and tank.
Yep.
What if they're like, okay, we think Carson Beck, because he chokes with the biggest moment he starts throwing at the other team. What if they think he's Josh Rosen 2.0? What if they think he's going to be awful? And that's why they used a 3rd round pick, because using a 3rd round pick this year is worth it to pick first in 2027. What if they did that? They're going to start him from week 1. They know he's going to be awful.
I like it, to be honest. I mean, I would. You're not going to win much here, right? So why play your hardest and put guys out there to get injured and everything else for the 5th or 6th pick when you could start Carson Beck and whatever else you want to do and just cross your fingers and pray and get the 1st or 2nd pick. I think going for the 1st or 2nd pick is much smarter in the long run. Maybe not in those games as people are going to that stadium and trying to cheer for what little bit they have, but I think in the long run it's the best play.
Plus the division's brutal. Absolutely.
Division's brutal. They're a weird team. Like, if Harrison plays better, you've got like some weapons on offense with Love and McBride. They just need a lot of help on defense, and you got to get that QB. But it's a weird team. It's kind of like the Raiders. They're a weird team. The Cardinals. It's just, how are you going to get any division wins?
Like, you finished last place. And the team you pick up is Detroit. That's your reward for being last place. You have to play the Detroit Lions. Like, that's brutal for their schedule.
Yeah, it is. It is brutal. You're 100% right. All right, buddy. I know you got one more question, and then I have some breaking news. We're going to do this here in a second. I just pulled up the graphic that we'll get to. We have all, if they have leaked, we now have all of the international games. So we'll take a look at them when you guys are done with this final question about the Packers. So, guys, go ahead.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to go through all the starting quarterbacks that have been drafted since 2021. Jordan Love was drafted in 2020. I'm going to ask you guys real quick, just give me yes or no. Would you take him over Love? Now, one more thing to consider. We're throwing out contracts. So if they're on a rookie contract and they're cheap, that doesn't count. So it's just, you want this to be your franchise quarterback. Pretend like Love's not, Love's making $55 million a year. So that doesn't count. Just, would you take this quarterback over Jordan Love? You guys ready?
Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. We're going to start with, some of these guys are kind of starters, kind of not. Mac Jones, I'm assuming no. No. Justin Fields?
No.
Trevor Lawrence?
No.
Okay. Well, let's see. Malik Willis?
Well, no, because obviously the Packers chose that before we did. So
some people thought Willis should start, but I just think he fit LaFleur's system and had some cupcake matchups. But no.
I agree. There were people in my channel in the comments that thought they should trade Jordan Love and keep Willis. They literally thought that. They think
I was like, no. I love that he's mobile. I think LaFleur wants a more mobile QB than Love, but no.
Okay. CJ Stroud?
No. Sorry.
No, because he's regressed so much in the last 2 years. If you'd have given me CJ Stroud year 1, I'd have thought about it, but not now.
Yes. Bryce Young?
No.
No. So we're still at 0. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Bo Nix?
No.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. JJ McCarthy? 9. Michael Penix Jr.
No.
Okay. First tough one. Okay. First tough one. Drake May.
Yes.
I don't think we know enough about Drake yet to make this decision, but as it is right now, no. But he may be there eventually.
Here's why I'd say no, and I might have said yes, but the Super Bowl he was awful. He was awful in that Super Bowl, so he didn't really have a tough schedule. Didn't have a didn't really have a tough, didn't have to play the Broncos with their quarterback with Bo Nix. So I'd still take Love over May, but you would not, Isaac?
No, that Broncos D was elite, and the weather was bad, and he played the Texans and actually had a decent game, and the Seahawks defense was legit. And they did not have a ton of weapons to work with. Absolutely, he got to a Super Bowl with his second year, and it's not just QB play, but I think May has a lot of potential. I don't think it's that far off, but I definitely would pick May.
It's close for me, but I would still lean Love. Okay, Jaden Daniels. Yeah, this is tough.
This is an interesting one.
I think I would go Love just because Daniel's been banged up and he's so light. I loved what I saw the first year, but I think I would go Love.
Yeah, I think it's another CJ Stroud thing. I agree with Isaac. If you could give me year one of Daniels, yes. But since he's been in the league 2 or 3 years and has proven that he's not able to take the hits and not able to stay healthy, no.
He's like 6'1", 205. It's just, most quarterbacks, franchise quarterbacks are 6'3", 6'4", 220. He's just small.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if he holds up. Caleb Williams.
No.
For me, no. I know a lot of Twitter thought so, but no.
Okay. All right, here's a fun one. Shadur Sanders. Mel Kiper Jr. says he's amazing. So there you go. Tyler Shuck.
No.
Jackson Dart.
No, but I like him. But no.
I do too, but no.
Cam Ward.
No, but I think he could be good too, actually.
Cam's got to be more accurate, but I see tools, but he's got to be more accurate before I take him over Young.
I think he finished strong in the season. I like what I saw the last 5 or 6 games. I'll still take Love, but I think he's trending the right direction, and he just got Cornell Tate, so that should help a lot. Okay, Fernando Mendoza.
No, we don't know anything yet.
I would still take Love.
Ty Simpson.
No.
Okay.
Again, we don't know anything yet, and I don't think he's got the talent of Mendoza. So, -2, no.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of quarterback talent that's come in the league. That just, tells you Love. I think, Isaac, you only took one over Love. Mike, I don't think you took any. So,
no.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying, oh, this quarterback talent's coming. Jordan Love's pretty darn good. Just that was kind of my point.
All right, I liked it. Let's look at the international games because they have now leaked, and I had them all. So let's put them up here on the screen.
Okay.
So there you go. Week 3 will be Dallas and Baltimore in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. The Week 4 matchup will be the Colts and Washington in London. 5 is the Eagles and Jaguars in London. 6 is, there's a lot of London games. 6 is Houston and Jacksonville in London. 7, the Steelers and the Saints. 9, the Bengals and the Falcons in Spain. Week 10 is going to be Packers and Detroit in Munich. That'll be a good game. That's not
the Packers. That's definitely not the Packers.
Oh, no, it's the Patriots. I'm sorry. Man, I'm old, okay?
Well, real quick, let me just tell you about that game. The NFL wanted the Packers-Lions in that game, and the Lions refused. They want that home game against Green Bay. They don't want to make it neutral. Anyway.
Interesting. Well, I wouldn't want to give it up that way if I was them.
Most of those aren't divisional matchups. The only one that is Texans Jags.
Yeah.
The rest of those are not divisional games. So I get it.
Yeah, and then you got your last one in Mexico, San Francisco, not far from the border, against the Minnesota Vikings. So there is your slate of games.
And the 49ers Rams also play in Australia week 1 as well.
Do they? Hang on.
Yes. And the 49ers aren't happy about it because they usually have more fans in LA than the Rams. So
there you go. You can't see it. Yes, you're off.
They've accused the Rams of asking for the 49ers because the 49ers fans, they're everywhere. They're a national team and they show up at SoFi. So the Rams don't really have a home game. That's why the rumor is the 49ers aren't happy about that. But no, it looks like every team in the NFC is the home team except for Jaguars. I forgot the Jaguars always play 2 games in London every year.
At least it's 2 in a row. You would think last year they finally actually had a decent season. I don't know how they're going to do this year. I'm not feeling too good about them, but we'll see.
I think
They
they
always
overachieved,
surprises.
and I think their draft was awful.
Yeah.
I think they overachieved. I think they could drop off.
Well, that's the problem with the Vikings is they had a terrible draft. Thieneman was there, and you reach for a defensive tackle. That was a Goody type move, but it was even possibly worse because Cisse was around that area on the board, and that pick makes sense. To take a reach on defensive tackle when Harrison Smith is about to retire or already, we don't even know if he's coming back. Those are the moves the Vikings couldn't afford to make. They lost too much talent on defense. I think unless Kyler Murray's awesome, I think they're sitting in the cellar of the NFC North, which is going to be a really tough division again this year, probably.
If Kyler plays well, though, that offense could be amazing.
That offense could be
So,
great. Watch. He plays 6 good games and fades by week 9 or 10. That's my prediction. I'm serious. I think James
Mike?
starts the stretch run
Has he ever done that before, Mike?
Yes, he's done that a few times.
every single year. I used to live in Arizona and I'm moving back, and that is Kyler Murray every single
Come on.
year. He not only physically can't he hold up, mentally the guy can't withstand it. And there's a reason the Cardinals were willing to eat his contract, and Cardinals fans are excited about it. I have several that are excited they cut Kyler Murray because he's been so disappointing.
He
I
should be an
wasn't one
Oakland
of
Athletic or a Las Vegas Athletic. He should be on the Athletics. They drafted him pretty high.
It's true. They did. But I wasn't really happy about them cutting him per se. I thought they should have given him another year. But here's what I think the big problem is with Murray. Murray has won everywhere he went. And now he's faced some adversity. The NFL is not as easy as he thought it was going to be. And he's crying and he doesn't understand. Why can't I win here? Why can I just outrun everybody? Why can't I just throw on the run and people not get in the way of the football? And it's the NFL is you look at Kyler Murray and you can tell, right off the bat that the NFL is a much bigger and better league than anything in college football. And I love college football, but the NFL is the elite of the elite.
Yeah, I mean, I can't possibly imagine JJ McCarthy wins that job. So the Minnesota Vikings season will have a lot to do with how successful Kyler Murray does. So yeah,
Absolutely.
It will be interesting.
This
I mean, he
is gonna be a
does
fun
have
season.
Jefferson. Now he's got Jennings. So it's not like they don't have weapons.
Jordan Addison, yeah, and
Mhm.
TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. That's a pretty. They have a good offensive line if they stay healthy. The offensive line hadn't stayed healthy the last couple of years. If they're healthy, it's a good group. That's been their biggest problem. It's like the line, like you talk about the Lions' defense not staying healthy. The Vikings' offensive line has collapsed when they started having injuries. But that's been an issue too.
Correct. All right, guys, I think we're done with our Packers stuff. Hey, Isaac, thank you very much for coming on with us. Plug your stuff one more time, buddy. Where can our fans find you?
You guys can find me on all the socials at Fun Football Pod or Fun Football Podcast, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I make shorts every few days. I make posts on Twitter daily, live shows pretty much every week. I'm probably moving to Wednesdays permanently. But you can see me tomorrow night at 9:30. Well, sorry, I apologize. 8:30 p.m. Eastern with Med Nerdcadia and Mike Essen. We're going to be doing a top 10. This is fun. The top 10, your top 10 players of the 1990s. That's our show tomorrow.
Barry Sanders.
You'll be on there for sure. Brett
Reggie
Favre will
White.
be on there. Brett
Oh,
Favre will
Reggie-
be on there. I don't think any Bears are going to make that list because the Bears kind of sucked in the 90s. So
Reggie
yeah.
White's got to be on there too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ooh, there's a
So-
lot of good players in the 90s.
I know. And guys that played part of the 90s, like Ronnie Lott, but were really played more in the 80s, or Lawrence Taylor, who won a Super Bowl, but he really mostly played in the 80s. So like Chris Carter, does he belong on there? Jerry Rice
John
had
Elway.
an amazing 90s. Elway on the NFL's all-decade team was actually first over Brett Favre, even though he had 3 MVPs, because Elway won 2 Super
Two
Bowls.
Super Bowls. Yeah.
And Aikman, everybody knows, didn't drive that team. Elway was huge. Terrell Davis. You got some running backs, Emmitt Smith, obviously. Thurman Thomas. You got some awesome players from the 90s.
I don't know if I could come up with 10. I probably
know.
had to 25.
Right? It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
All right. Well, that sounds great. We appreciate it. We will tune in tomorrow. And you said what time is it tomorrow, Eastern Standard?
8:30.
8:30.
Deion
All right.
Sanders. They just another Deion Sanders.
Man, Deion was
Exactly. Got to put some
Derek
defensive players on
Thomas. Derek Thomas was so good. Okay.
Dude, seriously, there's so many.
So
So many. John Randall, there's so many. But
Yeah.
hey, Mike, sorry I stepped on the questions. I had a blast, seriously. That's
No,
fun.
you're good. You didn't step on anything. You're
No,
fine.
you-
You didn't-
it-
and even
I
if
had a
you
blast.
did, you're not supposed to admit it on air, sir. Don't remember? It's live. We can't edit that.
You know what's funny is I kind of just went into them forgetting that was the question, like the last two. I just was going.
And that's what we like, man. Give our opinions, share them with our crowd, let them comment. That's what we do here on the Lights Out Sports Podcast. We appreciate you, Isaac. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
See you guys.
Okay.
Go Pack Go.
All right, let me switch this around back to 2 now. I got to do it that way. There we go. All right, that was fun, man. I liked Isaac. Again, he is
Yeah,
at Fun
fun dude.
Football Pod. You can get him over on YouTube at that, and then he is on X as well at the same spot. So if you just search Fun Football, you'll be able to find him pretty much anywhere and everywhere. All right, bud. So we're going to jump around here a little bit. We going to go to our MLB talk. So what we've got to do now is we have got to give you the best graphic in all of sports. Here it comes. All right, buddy. There it is. Like we'd like to call it, the best graphic in all of sports. As far as podcasting goes, of course, we're going to look at Bobby Cox. We're going to look at a player from the Braves, a player from the A's that we're going to spotlight here in a few moments. And then we're going to do our batting cleanup, brought to you by ForwardFan.com, where, by the way, you can use code AGO, which all gloves off, of course, AGO10, and you can get 10% more off any of those tickets. We'll talk about those in a moment. And when we back clean up, we'll talk about the Rays, the Reds, Cal Raleigh, and some MLB predictions. All right, buddy. I know if I was sad about this, I'm sure you were totally sad about this. I've got some pictures to throw up here as well to give some credit to your Atlanta Braves manager. We'll do that here in a second. His name, of course, is Bobby Cox, and we have to start our MLB section out with him. So Cox led the Braves to 14 consecutive division championships from 1991 to 2005, Cheese, but he only had one World Series win. My question to you is not trying to insult him whatsoever, but how can you be dominant like that, 14 consecutive division championships, yet only have one World Series, Cheese?
I mean, he won a World Series. It's
You could look at it that way, absolutely.
I mean, he won a World Series. I mean, it's tough to win the postseason. I mean, there were some years they absolutely should have won, a couple that they didn't. Yeah, I mean, but they did win. They did win. So I know a lot of people say that, well, they only won one. Well, they did win one. And some people saying that was like, well, I mean, a lot of teams didn't. Only one team can win every year. But he was great. Everyone liked him. Like, all the players liked him. They all respected him. He would always have their back. Just one of the best to ever do it. And when he left, when he retired, there was definitely a drop off in I think Freddie Gonzalez took over awful this leadership, situational managing, just the players, just there was something missing. So like when he left, it just was not the same. And they didn't win again till like 5 years ago, I believe, 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They had to get rid of Freddie Gonzalez, but he just wasn't Bobby Cox, and he wasn't as smart, as strategic, and just wasn't the leader. So I love Bobby. You know, when I was a little kid, he was the manager, so always remember him and sitting on the front step. You know, come on, Chipper. Mm-hmm. You know, so yeah, absolutely one of my favorite managers of all time.
Yeah, the Sports Pulpit this week, we'll be doing a tribute to him later on. I like to do a lot of the tributes to the people who have passed. So I'm working on it right the moment. We'll have it before the end of the week over on the Sports Pulpit. You can find that here at All Gloves Off Sports Media on YouTube. So look for that here in the upcoming days. Cheese, 4,518 games Bobby Cox managed, and he won 2,504 of them. That's the fourth most wins all time. Why was Bobby Cox able to win so many games?
Well, I mean, he managed a long time, managed some good teams, but yeah, he it's just he won games. If you manage a long time and you do a great job at it, you're going to win a lot of games. That's why. It's pretty simple.
All right, and here's one of the things that I love about Bobby. I've seen this happen several times. A little older than you, and I got to watch a lot of Bobby Cox baseball. I'm sure you got to watch a lot of it too. He had 162 ejections. That's almost a full season of ejections, by the way. How important is it for a manager to go out there and stand up to the umpire and have their teams back?
It's so important. So I think it's getting ejected can be different in different situations. I know it sounds crazy, but like Lou Piniella would do it to fire up his team. He'd make a big display and he was trying to motivate his team. Sometimes it worked. Honestly, it got really old with the Cubs at the end. It was just like, come on, just stop it. But Bobby did it every time he got ejected. It's because they made a bad call, and he just had a little temper, and he's just not going to take it. My favorite one ever was they were playing the Reds, and John Smoltz is on the mound. Chipper tags out the Reds player. I don't even remember who the Reds player was. Clearly out. And they call him safe. And Smoltz went to back up the play, and the umpire steps on Smoltz's foot. And so when you step on someone's foot, then Smoltz bumps him because he stepped on his foot, like lightly bumps him. And then the umpire tossed out Smoltz, kicked him out for bumping the umpire. He thought that that Smoltz had bumped him. It was Hunter Wendelstedt, actually, who it was. He thought Smoltz had bumped him, So Bobby's out there saying that was a BS call. And what are you doing? So he got tossed immediately. He started cussing at him, and it was great. And then he tells Smoltz, he tells him, get back on the mound. You're not tossed because he stepped on your foot. You didn't do anything wrong. Get back on the mound. You're not ejected. Smoltz gets back on the mound, and he's refusing to leave. Another umpire said, look, you got to go. And Smoltz is like, I can't. Bobby told me to stay, and I do whatever Bobby tells me to do. So, yeah, he always, if it was a bad call, if he didn't like it, he had a temper. He was going to get tossed. And I think that's the best way to have a lot of ejections, to have it, not to lose it like Earl Weaver, not to make a spectacle like I just said his name and now I lost it.
Lou Piniella.
Lou Piniella. To always say that was a wrong call. You bleeped it up, and have your players back. So I love that he had Smoltz's back there in that particular play.
All right, so I'm going to save the other picture for the end here. We'll do it after we're done with everything as we kind of go off the air. I've got a nice picture that I want to put up there, Bobby Cox and a couple other gentlemen, just so we can get to it here in a little bit here. But Cheese, and I want to stick with this, managers getting thrown out for. So we both watch a lot of baseball. I probably watch more than you, but that's just because you're the big football guy. But why don't more managers get thrown out today? I mean, I see all kinds of plays that are wrong and everything else, and they just kind of hang out in the dugout and be like, oh, well, it's okay. And, none of them seem to be fired anymore. None of them seem to do anything. They just kind of hang out in the dugout. Why?
Well, two reasons. One, they can challenge plays now. So once it's challenged, a lot of managers won't even argue, even if they still don't agree with the challenge, or they get it right. So you're not going to adjust. So that's part of it. But what you just said, a lot of managers, it's like they're trying to show composure, maybe like Craig Counsell. Sometimes it really annoys me. I'm a Braves and Cubs fan. Really annoys me when he goes out there sometimes on a terrible call, and he's just like, he looks annoyed, and he's just not letting the umpire have it. It's like, you got to, I mean, he's been tossed, but he rarely does. And it's like, if you do not make a point then the umpire think they can just keep making bad calls. That they, you need to make a point. You screwed up, you did, and get yourself tossed. And yeah, there was this man. I guess it's just, I'm trying to show composure. I don't know what it is. What do you think it is?
Well, I do think you're right, and it's the simple fact of they can challenge more plays now. So baseball actually does get more plays right than they used to. I love this new challenge system. I love the ABS system. All that stuff's fantastic. We're going to talk about labor agreements and all that kind of stuff. We didn't have time to do it today because not that we didn't want Isaac on. We invited Isaac on, but I knew I got two Packers guys on here. We'd be in that segment for a while. So I decided to wait on the other. And actually, they had their first labor negotiation today. For those of you who didn't know, they kind of laid the groundwork for what they're going to be doing in the future. So they're already starting, which is a good sign. Hopefully the game does not get interrupted, but we'll talk about that more later. Terry Francona is the Reds manager. I'm the Reds guy first, the Diamondbacks guy second, kind of like you. I have two teams. Mine is where I grew up and where I live now. I don't know. Terry is almost known for just being mild-mannered and just laid back. But I kind of like the fiery guys, right? And maybe, Cheese, maybe it is, if I do it all the time, it doesn't have near the effect that if I only do it 2 or 3 times a year. Right. If you get, you kind of said it got old. Lou Piniella did stuff where it got old after a while. So if you get tossed once a month, it gets old after a while. Maybe they're just thinking that I save this back for when I really need it. I was honestly kind of hoping Terry Francona would do something when the Reds had that 9-game losing streak. I mean, what better time to come out and do something crazy and get tossed and get your teammates behind you? Like, yeah, that's my manager. Right. And he didn't do it. So I'm thinking if he didn't do it then, he's probably not going to do it at all. And to be honest, I don't think I like that. I don't want a guy that goes out there and picks a fight, but I want a guy who will go out there and take it for his players. And there needs to be an in-between.
Yeah, I agree. And Bobby Cox did it best. He got ejected a lot, but there was rarely a time where you thought, okay, he shouldn't have been ejected. Like, he had legit beef. They made a bad call, and he's always going to go out there. And, like I said, he's got a little bit of a temper, so he's going to snap. He's going to start using F-bombs. So, yeah. But I think there are times where, like, Chipper's laughing after he gets tossed. Like, it makes him laugh. It loosens up the clubhouse. Like, right. I think part of it was probably strategic, but he always had some really good assistants, too, like Jimmy Williams and, some other names escaping me, right? Pat Corrales. He's always had some good assistants. So if he got tossed, he was fine. He's like, we have guys that can manage the team. If I'm, in the hallway, because they don't actually get tossed. They don't go home. They stand in the hallway where the cameras can see them. That's what they do. Anyone that know that's what they do.
They're still calling the games pretty much. They're just not out there in the dugout with them.
Yeah. Every once in a while, one manager will actually put on a mustache and come back in the dugout and think that people won't notice.
Yeah, I like his last name. It's pretty close to mine. I kind of like it. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let's do this. Let's add this graphic to
Bobby Valentine. For people didn't know, you can Google, Valentine. Look it up. He got tossed from a game and put on a fake mustache and got caught. It was stupid.
Yes. Like we all didn't know who it was, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the MLB team projections here, you got 110 plus win pace. You have 100 win pace. You got 90, and then you got 80. And then there's the mid, and then there's the 80, 90, and 100 beyond that. So I thought this graphic was interesting, especially for the top and the bottom. Do you think your Atlanta Braves can keep this 110 plus win pace up?
Well, again, they won tonight. No, I don't. I could see them keeping 100 win pace up because they have had some pitching injuries. So they're going to get some guys back. Mm-hmm. But their lineup probably not going to still be scoring runs like this later on the season. We'll see. So not 110, but 100, yes.
Okay, so what about the Mets at the very bottom? Are they really going to lose 100 games, or are they going to try to do something before this happens?
They're awful. They are awful. Their pitching sucks. They don't score runs consistently. Their defense is awful. They just suck. I would have said no maybe a week ago. I don't know. Yeah, I think they could lose 100 games because I think they might start selling. Come June, mid-June, if they're still bad, they might start selling early. So yeah. it's amazing. Their payroll is insane.
Yes. Just because you have a lot of money tied up in the team doesn't mean the team's going to be good.
So many players are underachieving on that team. So many.
Right. Speaking of a trade, there was a trade that was already made. If you didn't see it, we're not going to talk about it a lot today because I don't think it means a whole lot. San Francisco did trade backup catcher Patrick Bailey to the Guardians over the week since we talked the last time. Guardians are right there in that mid-range, and San Francisco is in the 90 loss pace spot. So here's what I want you to do, Cheese. Let's do this exercise. Let's look at 90 pace loss first. So these teams are on pace to lose 90 games. Orioles, Twins, Red Sox, Giants, Astros, Angels, Rockies. Which one of those teams do you think won't be down in that bottom cellar when it's all said and done? Who's going to rise up a little bit by the end of the season?
God, I thought the Orioles would be better. I think the Orioles. I thought they would be better. I didn't necessarily think. I didn't pick them for the postseason. You might have. I don't know, but
I did. Yep.
You did. I thought they'd be close to 500 teams. So I'll say the Orioles of those teams.
Okay, so then now you got the 80 loss pace. So who's going to jump up and maybe win their division in that realm? So you got Arizona, Texas, the White Sox, the Phillies, the Mariners, the Detroit Tigers, the Kansas City Royals. There's a bunch of these. The Miami Marlins, the Washington Nationals, or the Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, this is easy. I mean, Detroit Tigers. I mean, the Central is. I don't think anyone has a winning record. The Tigers are too talented to not eventually take that division. So I'll say the Tigers. You're not answering these questions, by the way. You should be.
Well, no, I said the Orioles.
Okay.
Right, I was with the Orioles.
Okay.
The Mets are probably. I mean, I think they're just too far gone, and I think you're just going to see a household cleaning in New York before it's all said and done. I would also give an assist to the Astros. I watched them play over the weekend with my Reds.
The pitching injuries, though, are devastating. Their injury situation is so bad. I don't see them bouncing back, but.
Well, but once they get those guys back, that could be a thing. It's almost like a bunch of people that they get at the trade deadline. So I think it might jolt them before it's all said and done. They've got one of the best hitters in baseball in Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah, he's
I like their young guys in the corners of their outfield. Smith. I know he dropped the one ball that cost him the game against the Reds, but I like him a lot. And then I believe it was Caleb, or maybe his last name was Caleb. He really impressed me. He was in left field the two games that I watched. Young kid, looked really good. And
that's been a problem for the Astros for years is outfield. They have not gotten a lot of production. So, it's I can't find it. But it says Carlos Correa is hurt. So great.
Well, he's out for the year. Yeah.
Oh, he's out for the year.
Yes.
Just in there. Half their pitching's out. Half their pitchers that were supposed to be starting the year are injured. Mm-hmm. So, that's devastating.
All right. So gun to your head, Cheese. You picking the A's or the Guardians to go to the playoffs? Or both? Or neither?
Oh, man. Probably the Indians, because I don't like the Guardians name. Probably A's. I like the A's young players. Maybe throughout the year they'll get better, but I still think they're a year away from being contender. I still think they're maybe a year away. So I'll say the Guardians or Indians. What about you?
Okay. I'm going to pick the A's just because, man, they're a fun team to watch. I don't know if you've watched them too much this year. If you like offense, they're a fun team to watch. They don't have a really great pitching staff. And I think if they could really pick up somebody to trade deadline to solidify that, get them a few more wins, I think you can see Oakland pull it off. In the 90 win column, you got Dodgers, Padres, and then look at this. All the Central except for one.
Crazy.
Brewers, Cardinals,
all the
Pirates,
Central is on
Reds.
pace to win 90 games.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy?
And the Reds would have the third best record in the entire American League, and they would lead the AL West and the AL Central.
Yep. But yet, I believe right at the moment they're still last in the National League.
They were losing today. I don't know. They probably lost. They were way down on the Nationals.
Yeah, I saw that. I couldn't believe they're letting the Nationals beat them. But okay, so we're going to say
they lost 10-4. Sorry.
Thanks, Cheese.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, Brewers, Cardinals, Pirates, Reds. Which of those 4 teams is going to have the better record when it's all said and done?
I mean, Dodgers. Of the Central?
Yeah,
Oh.
Brewers, Cardinals,
I was
Pirates,
hoping
Reds.
to pick in that whole. I was hoping to pick the Dodgers. Oh my gosh. Not the Cardinals. Phew. Man, that's tough. For some reason, somehow the Brewers will just find a way. They always overachieve. So I hate saying it. Pirates, same thing with the A's. Like, I still think they're a year away. So I'm not going to say the Pirates. I think it's between the
Mhm.
Reds and Brewers. So the Reds were winning all the close games. Now they're losing them all. So I'll say the Brewers. What do you think?
I'm going to say the Reds will pull it off. I'm trying, I'm being kind of a homer here, but I like how their team's built, but now they lost their closer. They lost Pagan. I don't know how long he's going to be out. Hopefully they'll get Hunter Green back sometime soon. And I think if they can get both of those guys back around midway to the season, they'll be okay. They just kind of have to keep their head above water right at the moment.
Yeah, and it's like Sal Stewart's back hitting again. So
Mhm.
it seemed like I don't know, like Sal Stewart, I mean, he's definitely one of the favorites for Rookie of the Year, but it seemed like when he was hitting everything, they were winning, and then he went in a slump and they started losing. Now he's hitting again, but so maybe that'll help him turn around. He had 3
Well,
hits.
that's the
tonight.
way baseball works. Geez, it is.
Yeah.
When the new kid comes up, he starts smacking everything, and then the pitchers adjust to him. Right now, they're throwing him inside, and until he makes the adjustment of either laying off that pitch or turning on it faster and pulling your hands in, that's what's going to keep him from being a major league star and not just a flash in the pan. So we'll see how it all works out. And then the last 3 there, the 100 win: Tampa Bay, Chicago, New York. So I'm going to throw Tampa Bay out because I don't think they can continue to do it.
What?
Yeah, we'll talk about them here in a second. Cubs, Yankees. Who will have the better record at the end of the year?
I'm actually gonna say Yankees actually because the Cubs have a tougher division. It's just gonna be tough. I do think the Cubs could win 100 games. I do. I don't necessarily think they will, but like they could. They have a very good team. They have a deep team, but just because the division is so tough, I will say the Yankees. I hate to admit it, but I'll say the Yankees.
Yeah, and I would say it too. I don't like saying it either, but I agree with you. Their division is so tough. They're just going to beat up each other, and I don't think the Yankees division is near as tough. All right, so we're going to do the players. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying it's not. It's not. The Red Sox are pretty bad. So yeah, it's
Red Sox, Orioles. I mean,
the Orioles. Yeah, Red Sox and Orioles have looked really bad. But
All right, so we're going to spotlight a player from your Atlanta Braves. A stat that I didn't know he owned. We'll give that to you first. He has played now. Today, I believe, will make 825. He's played in his 825th consecutive game. He's the only player active in the top 10 of consecutive games played. How big of a stat is that, or is that just something that's like icing on the cake to everything else, Cheese?
Probably just icing on the cake to anything else. I mean, he's not Cal Ripken.
Well, yeah, you won't like my comment in a minute, but go ahead. That's why I let you lead this thing off.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive. It is, but I mean, at some point it's going to end. So yeah, I mean, it's just icing on the cake.
So to me, this means absolutely nothing. Cal Ripken means absolutely nothing to me. Okay. So yeah, okay. We'll do this for a minute. Okay, good job. You showed up to work every day like you're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do that all the time. I haven't missed a day of work in almost 5 years.
So you're ahead of Matt Olson. You're ahead of Matt Olson. You're ninth all
maybe. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. Maybe it's just the generation that I come from. You're supposed to feed your family. You're supposed to do all those things. And the baseball players get months off in between. Regular people like you and I don't do that. So when you say, oh, this guy has been here for this many consecutive games, it's like, well, good. He should be. He's getting paid a ton of money to do so, and he's showing up for work every day. I do it and don't make near as much money as that guy does. So it doesn't impress me at all.
Well, I'll say two things. One, NBA players sit all the time just for rest. Yes.
Right. They do.
But I get what you're saying. You're making a lot of good points. The one thing I'd push back on is there's no way that Matt Olson or obviously Cal Ripken didn't have something that was banged up that they probably should have rested, but to help their team, because they're really good players. They're really good hitters. Having them out there helps. They're really good defenders too. Ripken was amazing defensive shortstop. Like having them out there, even if they're 85% banged up, it helps their team. So I think there's that aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, you could have a player that's just a really good defensive player, never hit anything, just played 1,000 games in a row. He's not a Hall of Famer. He can hit, So yeah, I get your point.
Well, I mean, that's just basically saying that you don't have a backup that's any good. When you're wanting 85% of a player and you're like, oh, well, he needs to go out there and play, that means your backup sucks.
But 85% of Matt Olson or Cal Ripken is great. Most teams would love that, They can really hit, and they're Gold Glovers. So yeah.
Okay. Well, using to continue with Matt Olson and not to downplay him too much. I just don't like that stat too much, so I wanted to bring it up. He leads the league in games. He's played 41 games, obviously, every one of them.
Of course he does.
Yes. He leads the league in runs and RBIs with 36. He leads in OPS with 1.031, and he leads the National League in total bases with 104. So Matt Olson is being, I know he's out there all the time, and he probably has more at bats than everybody else. And you're like, well, if he has more at bats, then sure, he's going to have more total bases. And if he plays in more games, then he's going to have more runs and RBIs. But the other part of this, Cheese, and we have said this on this show as well, is the best ability is availability. So I'll give Matt Olson his credit for doing it. I just don't want to make him out to be king. That's all.
No, I don't think he's king. I mean, I think they really, I'm sure you remember it. I remember watching the game where Cal Ripken did. They way over did that, the whole thing. They just acted like, I mean, they had this big thing. He ran the bases. The media just talked about it for days. But yeah, and it's, some of it's luck. I mean, let's be honest, like, it's luck that you haven't gotten hit by a pitch on your hand and broken a finger, and hurt yourself sliding. Guys get hurt all the time. So a lot of it's like luck as well.
It's very true. All right. So let's spotlight we spotlighted our National League player. Let's give the spotlight to our American League player. Shea Langeliers is who we're going to do that with.
Yes. I know him very well.
Yes, he has been doing very well. Do you have him on your fantasy team, sir?
No, I do not. I said I know him very well, and I'll tell you why in a second. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. No, there's Shea Langeliers' stats with the 11 home runs, 22 RBIs, 50 hits. He is leading the league right at the moment with a 336 batting average, and he has OPS of 1.011. Now, almost all of those stats are a little under Matt Olson, so just kind of a comparison perspective there. But I want to give Shea Langeliers credit because of the position that he plays, Cheese. He is behind the plate all the time, gets banged up, gets thrown at, has to do everything in the game. Or maybe, Cheese, that's why he is so good, is because he is in every play. He has to be that way. Which way do you think it is? Does he get banged up a lot being back there, or do you think maybe it keeps him better engaged because he's involved in every play?
God, that's a good question. Gage, because he's involved in every play, I think. It's very impressive. Like, him being able to hit is not really a huge shock. I never thought he'd be this good. So he was a top 10 draft pick. So it's not like he was just someone out of nowhere. But when the Braves drafted him, he was one of those guys that will stick. That what they said was, because it's not like football. I don't know anything about these guys. Like, I learned from the broadcast. You just don't know. But what they said about him was, he can stick at catcher. He's got a great arm. He will stay a catcher. Like, he's not a guy that, maybe he'll stay a catcher. Like, he is a catcher all the way, with power potential, with upside with the bat. So I never thought he'd be this good. The Braves traded him in the Sean Murphy deal. They needed a catcher at the time. I don't even know if they had probably just drafted Drake Baldwin. We didn't know he'd be great.
Mhm.
Turned out to not be great trade because Murphy is always hurt, and he's hurt again. He hurt his finger. Oh no. I'd love to have him on the Braves. Imagine having Langoliers and Baldwin, but yeah, Langoliers, it's pretty amazing. And the A's are. It's a shame no one's not talking about them enough. You mentioned them earlier. They're a fun young team to watch because they have so many good young bats. Nick Kurtz, oh my God, he's an incredible young hitter too.
So just to give you a little bit, last 5 games for Shea Langoliers, 20 plate appearances. He's got 8 hits, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 2 walks, and 3 Ks. So almost as many walks as strikeouts, giving you the 8 hits, the 3 home runs, and the 7 RBI. So he is really, really on a nice path right the moment. All right. So one more thing we do here in the MLB, and then we will go to our lights out list. So we got 3 smaller topics here when we do our batting cleanup, brought to you by forwardfan.com. Again, you can use the code AGO10, and you can get 10% more off your tickets from forwardfan.com. We'll talk about them a little more here. I'll give you the question. I'm going to look some stuff up from Forward Fan. We'll find out what the ticket prices are, and then we'll talk about them a little more here in just a moment. So, Cheese.
Yes.
The Tampa Bay Rays have the best record in the AL while only having 3 teams that have less payroll than them. And their highest guy is at $12 million, Yandy Diaz. Talk to me about how impressive the Rays are so far this season.
Very impressive. And this should only be a mild surprise. It's just they haven't been as good the last couple of years. But the Rays, they've had stretches where they've had one of the lowest payrolls and they still make the playoffs. They've made a couple World Series. They haven't won one. They have one of the best developmental organizations in all of sports. It's absolutely incredible, especially the way they develop hitters. It's amazing. They can take 4th, 5th, 6th, 12th round picks and make them major league starters. And it's kind of a shame that they don't have a bigger payroll, that they don't have one of those owners that will spend. But it's really impressive. Like they're I don't know. I just don't know why some teams just cannot develop players like them. I don't know, maybe if they just spend more on analytics or resources or whatever, but we should be mildly surprised, but we should not be shocked that the Rays, any year, the Rays could be good just because of how well they develop talent.
Yeah, they do certainly develop talent very, very well. And you're right. We probably shouldn't be impressed as far as that part goes. They've done it seemingly year after year after year. But I also, as a baseball fan, keep saying, okay, well, they're not going to be able to do it this year. And then they do it again. It's like, okay, well, they're not going to be able to do it this year. And then they do it again. So this also talks about what we were discussing, and we'll get into. I know next week we're going to have a special co-host. You won't be here. We'll cry about that later. But you're taking a much needed vacation. Go do that. We all need to. I'm going to do the same thing a couple weeks after that. So,
Okay.
By all means, please go right ahead.
Real quick, a friend of mine texted me. Shea Langoliers was in the Matt Olson trade, not the Sean Murphy. So that makes me feel a lot better.
Okay.
So thank you. Appreciate it. Okay.
You're not even going to give your guy credit as to who it was?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you want me to
Sure.
say it.
Oh, well, okay. All right. Well, whatever. Oh man.
I don't want to say his nickname on live.
Oh, is that so? Okay. All right. So it's one of those deals. All right. Got it.
All he did was Google it, but yeah. So he was in the Matt Olson trade. It's anybody that doesn't know what happened to Matt Olson. Freddie Freeman should have been a Brave, but his agent basically gave the Braves an ultimatum that Freddie didn't know about. That you have to give him this money or we're not signing with the Braves. And the Braves are like, okay, we're not paying him that. And so then they traded for Matt Olson, and Freddie Freeman was shocked. He wanted to go back with the Braves, fired his agent, ends up with the Dodgers. But anyway, so yeah. That's why Shea Langoliers, because Freddie Freeman's agent is why Shea Langoliers is not a Brave, and Matt Olson is. There you go.
There you go. Good job. So as far as forwardfan.com. We're looking at it right now. Let's look at the Tampa Bay Rays for a second. So if you believe that the Tampa Bay Rays are going to make it to the Super Bowl, you, ladies and gentlemen, can lock in your ticket prices right now at forwardfan.com, and they will only cost you $55 a ticket. We have said earlier on this show, we say it every week, World Series tickets are expensive. They are averaging right around $2,000 or so. So yeah, you can get Tampa Bay Rays tickets right now, $55. The other team that we're going to talk about here.
Whoa, like $55, like they're a really good team. We've talked about them. They've made World Series. That's like a really good deal. If you're a Tampa fan, it's probably not a lot of them out there, but there's some. That's an unbelievable deal. You should get that. Absolutely.
It is. It absolutely is.
It's only
and then we're looking
$55, $55. That doesn't even fill up your tank anymore.
That's true. That's kind of sad, but it's very true.
Spend it on World Series. Don't spend it on gas.
Right? You have much more fun at the World Series than you would standing at the gas pump.
Yes.
Cincinnati Reds. So they're going to talk about them next, and they are the same price. $55 for your World Series ticket. If you are a Cincinnati Reds fan and you think they're going to make it to the playoffs, go to forwardfan.com, and then you'll get actually a little more off of it because you can use the code AGO10 and get 10% more off. So why are we saying the Reds? Because the Reds have issued, I don't know if I can get through this or not. The Reds have issued a bases loaded walk 14 times already this season. My heart is hurting.
That's bad.
That's incredible.
I'm sure Ricky and Roger have talked about that quite a bit on the Reds, on the Red Hot Reds podcast. Red Hot Reds podcast.
There you go. I'll save you.
Yeah, it's part of All Clubs Off Sports Media. So if you're a Reds fan, make sure you check it out.
Yeah. They also do Minor League Monday, where they look at the Reds prospect on Mondays as well. So there's two different things over there. Check both of them out. They're really good podcasts. They only did it 7 times last year, did they? I mean, and even year. 7 times in a year seems terrible.
14. Okay, so 14 bases loaded walks.
Yes.
Already this year, and did
Correct.
it 7 times last year. 14 times.
Yeah, in 40 games, I believe.
Why do you think that is? Is it pitching injuries? Is it just, do they have guys in the pen with control problems? What do you think the reason is?
Well, if you remember,
Reds guy.
Yeah, if you remember during against the Pittsburgh Pirates, they walked 7 batters in a row, the one inning. So that contributes to it some. But yeah. Yeah, they tied the second worst. The Orioles walked 9 like back in the 50s or something like that. So they're there on second place in a dubious award that I'm sure all of them wanted. But the Reds are one of these teams. You said it earlier. They're winning a lot of the 1-run games. They've lost a few of them lately, but if they don't win those 1-run games, they just get absolutely blown out. They lose 14-7. The Astros beat them 10-4 the other night. And it's the Astros. Half their team's injured, and you let the Astros score 10 runs on you. So the Reds are either feast or famine, and it's.
I got a stat for you. You love stats.
Yes, I do.
And you mentioned walks, and you mentioned the Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Skeens has not had a walk since April 13th.
Wow.
It's May 12th. He's not walked a player. We already know he's got incredible stuff, but he doesn't walk people either.
And his stats would not be near as bad if you take out that opening day start for him.
Well, yeah, except for that one. But yeah, you can throw that out. But 14 bases loaded walk. Well, here's the good news is you probably ended the year with 16 or 17. I mean, what are the chances you have many more? They've got him out of the way. Let's just hope they got him out of the way and they won't do that anymore. That's
very true. Speaking of people who aren't doing anything right at the moment, haven't done anything in a long time, let's bring up this guy, Cal Raleigh. These are his numbers through 42 games last year and through 42 games this year. somebody on this channel, not named Cheese, accused him of possibly doing some kind of illegal substance or something like that. And a lot of people got all upset with me. But here's your stats. Cal Raleigh is currently 0 for 36. And in those 36, he's had 16 strikeouts. He last got a hit on April 27th. And he has hit 7 home runs. But those 7 home runs have only given his team 9 RBIs. And then, you can look for yourself there. The stats from last year to this year, this season, 157, 559 OPS is awful. He's only had 24 total hits, 7 home runs, 18 RBIs as compared to the left-hand side of the screen. Cheese, what's wrong with Cal Raleigh?
I mean, this guy almost won the MVP. It's 60 home runs, most for a catcher last year. I mean, he was one of the best hitters in baseball. So his hard hit rate has gone from 49% to 28%.
Ooh.
His strikeout rate's up to 31%. His exit velocity was 91 last year, is 86 this year. He's swinging more out of the zone. His batting average balls in play, which means he's making weak contact, is 181. So he's not making hard contact. So you're not going to have a good batting average balls in play. I mean, I was not surprised that he's not on pace to hit 60 homers. I wouldn't have been surprised if he hit 42, right? Mm-hmm. He wasn't going to hit 60 again. No way. But this, never expected. You had a theory. I don't want to really get into that without proof, but I don't think I've ever seen a drop from one of the best hitters in baseball to one of the worst overnight. I'm trying to think, maybe Josh Hamilton. If you can think of another one, let me know. Let us know in the comments too. Can you think of anyone else that's had this just complete drop off like this? Like to MVP candidate almost wins it to worst hitter in baseball?
No, probably not.
Yeah.
And I'm looking a couple things up right the moment as you talk. If you hear me clicking in the background, I apologize for being able to hear me. But here's the big reason why I thought there was something fishy last year. So he began his career in 2021 and he hit 2 home runs. Now, that was in very limited plate appearances, only 148. So let's toss that out. The next year he got 119 plate appearances and hit 27 home runs. So he was pretty steady, pretty on tap. So he went 27, 30, and then up a little bit more to 34. And then all of a sudden you got 60. And I've said it before I got this podcast. I've said it when I used to write things for other publications before all this came about. When you've got a player that either jumps way up or comes way down, there's something going on. That just doesn't happen. And now Cal Raleigh went way up and he's fallen way back down. My question is, and you don't necessarily have to answer it because I don't think you want to get in the weeds on this, but I'll answer it. Is he scared that he can't take his drug of choice 2 seasons in a row? I would say the answer is yes. And he's proven it to me.
So while you were making the point, I just kind of looked it up. Sammy Sosa went from 36 to 66 in 1 year. So
if you look up Mark McGwire, his numbers are very similar. So
he had a 30 homer jump just like that. But even if that's the case, even if he was taking something, he still shouldn't be this bad. Like his track, he should not be this bad. So it's more than that. I think he might be pressing. Like I said, he's swinging more out of the zone than he used to, making weaker contact. So when he does, make contact, so I think it's more than that. It could. I think psychological there's a problem, but it could be what you're saying. But I've never seen anything like this. I'm just glad I didn't draft him in fantasy.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people overdrafted him in fantasy.
I'm surprised people haven't cut him yet. But I drafted Sal Stewart, so I'm in first place.
So let's ask this. For Football with Cheese, of course. I like the mug, buddy.
Football with Cheese, yes. Follow me on YouTube, Football with Cheese, CAGZ, and on X, Football Cheese without the with. You can see it right there. Follow me. I haven't done a shameless plug yet. Can't believe
you've done it a couple times. You just do it so often you forget. So how long can Seattle afford to stay with Cal Raleigh? I mean, they're in the bottom half of the division. They need a spark. How long can they afford to stay with Cal Raleigh? That's my first part. Second thing, do you really? And I think this is a big thing. Maybe you don't. We weren't really going to do this, but I'm going to do it real quick. I think it's different trading for a catcher. You bring in a catcher mid-season, the catcher's got to learn your pitching staff, not only your starters but your relievers.
Good point.
It's a lot to ask of someone to come in, and then you're like, okay, we brought you in here for your offense, so you need to continue to produce, and you also need to learn the pitchers, and you need to be a good defender, and all this kind of stuff. I think that's really asking for a lot when you bring in a catcher during the season. So they almost have to ride him out, but do they? I mean, this is going to be a big decision for Seattle if this keeps going.
You might know better than me. I don't know who the backup is. I don't know what the situation, if they have a good prospect in AAA. I know the Mariners last year or the year before, probably 2 years ago, had one of the best farm systems. One of the reasons why they almost made the World Series. They had a really good young core. But I think they can afford to be patient. And here's why. They are in a crappy division.
Yeah.
They're 1.5 games out of first place, and they're the only team in the division that has a positive run differential. So I still think they're going to win the division because of that, because of how good the roster is. They have really good starting pitching. I think they can be more patient. But I don't know if they've done this. What they might need to do is just give him 2 or 3 days off. Online it said he's had a oblique issue, but it's been minor. Maybe that's been part of it. I doubt that's the main reason, but I think they can afford, because if they were, in a division if they were in the AL East, they probably couldn't be, but because they're in the West, I think they can afford to, be a little more patient.
Well, Mitch Garver, just so you know, is their backup catcher.
Okay.
His stat line: no home runs, 1 RBI, 7 runs, and he's batting $167.
So, hey, he's batting better than Cal Riley a little bit. A little bit, maybe. Yeah. So that's it's not like their backup is setting the world on fire or anything. So. Okay. Yeah. So they just got to hope he at least turns it around. We'll see.
Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Lights Out list, where we, myself and Cheese, give you our top 10 of a certain category that a lot of times we get together and pick. We don't have to this time. We started it last week and did really well, so we're going to continue it this week. Last week we did the top 10 players in the National League Central. This week we're going to do top 10 players in the American League Central. I can tell you a couple things about my list. One, I only have 1 pitcher on this list. And I believe I have pretty much every team represented with at least 2 players from each team. So, without further ado, let's do it. All right, Cheese. Here we go. AL players. Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I have 1 pitcher too.
Yeah, just 1?
Just 1. I'll just admit I know way more about our list last week, the NL Central and the AL Central. So if my list is a little weird, Mike's more the baseball guy. Just don't get mad at me. Don't destroy me in the comments. But I'll let you go first.
Okay, you can. All right, so I'm going to go first. So I like this player a lot. He's coming on. He's still a little young, but he's probably the best offensive player on that team. Let me make sure and run down the names. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Best offensive player on this team, although some people might disagree. Batting .317, 9 home runs, 20 RBIs, and 26 runs. My number 10 is for the Detroit Tigers, and his name is Riley Green.
Oh, more on him later. I have 2 pitchers. I just realized.
Okay.
Yeah, my number 10 is a pitcher. So there you go. Make sure I got the name right. So I don't watch the White Sox a lot, but Davis Martin, okay, he's 29 years old. He's having a breakout year. Usually you don't have it at 29, but his ERA this year is, oh God, what is it? 1.62. The White Sox have been better than expected. Their pitching has been amazing. Davis Martin, probably might know more about him than I do, but I just saw the ERA, and his field independent pitching is 2.34, so it's not like, and he's been worth 2 wins already. Like, yeah, Davis Martin for the White Sox, number 10.
All right. Well, I'm getting a couple of things together here for my next guy. I should have done it a little faster, but I did not. So now you're going to see how skilled I am not at when I'm talking and typing at the same time.
Sox. I have 3 White Sox on this list. That's crazy.
You do?
I do.
Wow.
I only have 1 twin, though. You said you have 2 twins. Okay. I only have 1.
I do. And one of the twins is right now.
Okay.
I'm going to put a guy up here that no one's really talking about that I think more people should talk about. I really wanted to put him higher than 9, but I just couldn't. So 337 batting average, even though he only gives you 1 home run, 8 RBIs, not fantastic, 13 runs, but he has played left, right, center, DH, and second base in 40 games this season. So he's really a versatile player for them. His name's Austin Martin from the Minnesota Twins. So if you're looking for a guy to pick up on fantasy that you can plug and play pretty much anywhere, maybe you want to do Austin Martin. Now, I'm number 9 guy for the Minnesota Twins.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really look at. I haven't watched the Twins play probably since last year, but okay. My number 9 is another White Sox, Colson Montgomery. He's one of those guys. I think he was a big time prospect. Is that correct?
Yes,
you would know.
absolutely,
Okay.
he was.
He was. Of course, yeah. Yeah, shortstop. And his numbers just, really impressive. Doesn't hit much for average, but 10 home runs already this year. His defensive has been great. His defensive metrics, and he's worth 1.64 so far, Fangraph WAR. So yeah, Colson Montgomery, one of a lot of good young players. Something crazy. All of a sudden, the White Sox have good young players. Number 9, Colson Montgomery.
That's what happens when you're last for so long and you get to pick high in the drafts and all that kind of thing. You trade away everybody, you get young prospects back, and they've hit on some of these prospects. Well, I haven't even got to my White Sox yet.
Okay.
All right, number 8 for me, based more on his overall record than what he's doing right now. But the Guardians are in first place, so I bumped him up a little bit because of that. Stephen Kwan. He's only batting .204. Doesn't give you a lot of power. We all know this. 1 home run, 9 RBIs, but he has scored 18 runs. So his job is to get on base and then let the guys behind him hit him in. That's what a complete team does. And Stephen Kwan helps the Guardians do that every single game. So he's at my number 8 spot. Stephen Kwan, Cleveland Guardians.
I thought about him, but he just, he's hitting .204 with 1 home run. I just can't. I couldn't put him on the list. His track record's good. I just couldn't. My number 8, and maybe I should have him higher, but another guy just not having the best year, but he's been really good. And that's Salvador Perez, the catcher for the Royals. He's 35 years old. I think he's hitting right around 200. Great defensive catcher. He's got a lot of power. We'll see if he turns around, but he's just been an amazing player. He's been the face of the Royals for a decade until the guy who's going to be much higher on this list. Number 8, Salvador Perez.
It's funny. Number 7 for me, Salvador Perez. Again, the first thing I wrote down, leader. You mentioned it. He's been the face of this franchise for quite some time. No, he's not fantastic, but he can also catch and play first base. So he's being a little more versatile. They're allowing him to go out there and take Pasquantino's spot, giving him a little bit of a breather, which is important for the younger guys. 5 home runs, 17 RBIs, and 14 runs. So, excuse me. Is he doing fantastic this year? No, he's not. But I guarantee you he's still that guy in the clubhouse that's helping everybody out, that's positioning players and things like that. So because of his leadership abilities, more than anything else, Salvador Perez at number 7 for me on the top 10 list of the players, the best players in the American League Central right now.
Yeah, my number 6. I only have seven. Seven. I only have one twin. It's Byron Buxton, outfielder, center fielder for the Twins. Buxton, he's got a lot of power. He doesn't walk a ton. I think I had trouble with 4, 5, 6, 7. Moved down to 7 just because his defense is not as good as it used to be. It's still good, just not great anymore. And he doesn't walk enough. But 13 homers, 30 RBIs. So yeah, Byron Buxton is my number 7.
I'm going to tell you, I had a hard time with the top 3, putting them in what order I wanted them to be in. So we'll get to that here in just a few moments. But right now, Riley Green, Austin Martin, Stephen Kwan, Salvador Perez, and number 6, whom you have already talked about, the first White Sox on my board of 2, Colston Montgomery. Yes, a very highly touted prospect. He was in the Arizona Fall League for 2 or 3 years in a row, and it's like, okay, is he ever going to make this jump? And the White Sox, they could be patient with him, so they were patient with him. They were very sold on him. You said it correctly, 221 batting average, so not a huge average guy, but 10 home runs, 28 RBIs, and 17 runs scored so far, and his defense has never wavered. So, yes, fantastic shortstop for them, one of their building blocks there in Chicago, and because of that, he makes it to number 6.
Okay, my number 6 is a rookie for the Tigers, Kevin McGonigal, shortstop. He was tough to place. I thought of putting him, in the 4 to 7 range, all pretty close. He only has 2 homers, okay, but he has 26 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, but he walks more than he strikes out. He never strikes out. 13% walk, 4.4, 12.2% strikeout. He's one of the best prospects in baseball, all of baseball. He's a shortstop or third baseman. You might know better than me. But he's probably his home is probably
primarily a shortstop, but he can play third base.
Yeah, I think third base is probably his home. I don't think he'll be a great defensive shortstop, but the guy can just absolutely hit, and you just don't see rookies that walk more than they strike out. So for that, I moved him up to number 6.
Okay. Well, for me, it was kind of weird. You moved him up. I moved him off the list.
Okay.
Kevin's not had a great last couple of weeks. Kind of like a Sal Stewart kind of dip. So he's not been great over the last couple of weeks. And I kept the guys who their track record spoke for them in Kwan and Perez over top of where I would have put Kevin at in that spot. So I didn't put him on my top 10. Number 5 might surprise some people, but I did it because he's on the IL right at the moment, and he's the only pitcher on this list.
Okay, I have him higher.
He's 3-2 with a 2.70 ERA, and he has a really impressive 45-6 strikeout to walk ratio, which honestly almost pushed him higher. But these top 4, I just couldn't put him any higher than them. So Tarek Skubal for me is at number 5. Middle of the road, he'd be higher if he was healthy.
Okay. More on him later. Mutaka Murakami is my number 5 White Sox. You got to ignore the fact that he strikes out so much. Not a great defensive player, but it's hard to ignore 15 home runs. 17.3% walk rate. He gets on base. He hits the ball at the ballpark. I couldn't put him lower than 5. I couldn't.
I understand. I didn't put him lower than 5 either. I have him higher than that. Here in just a little bit, we'll talk about him.
All right, there you go.
All right. So
I honestly thought you were going to dig me for that. I thought you were going to have an 8 or 9.
Nope.
You'd be like, geez, are you dumb? I really thought so. Okay, cool.
Byron Buxton for me, number 4. You had him earlier in the list. I put him this high, 259 average with 13 home runs, 21 RBIs, 30 runs, by the way, and a really good 3 stolen bases as well. So he's that complete guy. If he can just stay healthy, I cross my fingers that he can. Can he lead these Twins? Now, the Twins are doing better than I expected them to do, and a lot of it is because of Byron Buxton. I wonder, I'm going to throw this out there, I wonder which center fielder is going to get traded first, Mike Trout or Byron Buxton. We'll have to have that discussion later on one of the shows. But
Let's do that in 2 weeks, because I do have a lot of thoughts on that. Let's talk about that in 2 weeks, because Trout's fascinating.
Yes.
And Angels don't have a track record of trading their stars. They don't. They just don't. So we'll talk about that in 2 weeks on the Lights Out podcast.
All right.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay. My
So
number
that's
10 was
Byron Buxton's my number 4. Cheese, who's your number 4?
10, Davis Martin, pitcher, White Sox. Colson Montgomery, shortstop, White Sox, number 9. Number 8, Salvador Perez, catcher, Royals. 7, Byron Buxton, outfielder, Twins. 6, Kevin McGonigal, shortstop, Tigers. 5, Murakami, first baseman, White Sox. My number 4, you already mentioned him. I'm a little surprised you didn't have him higher. I really, really like Riley Green, outfielder for the Tigers. Maybe not the best defensive player, but he can hit. He's hitting .317 with a .418 on base percentage. He had 36 homers last year, only 4 this year, but power, maybe the power will come back. But like I said, he can just hit. He's, walk percentage is by far a career high for him. So yeah, number 4, Riley Green.
It's kind of wild, isn't it, how these hitters, like their power goes down, their walk rates go up. It's like, what are they concentrating on in the off season? And think, I'd love to be able to talk to these guys and be like, what did you concentrate on? And before the season's out, which season would you like better? We may have to have some of those discussions in the off season for MLB. But I like what you said. I like Riley Green a lot, but I think he's regressed in some spots. So that's why I pushed him down on the list a little bit.
Defensively, he's regressed. If you look at the stats, it's not great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not great, but yeah, he can hit. Okay.
And his home runs have gone down a lot too. So
yeah.
For me, 3, 2, and 1 was really hard. And I had to go with the new guy at 3, even though he's not new to baseball. He's new to American League Baseball, and that is Murakami. 232 average, not great, but he has 15 home runs, 29 RBIs, and 25 runs. So he is the epitome of the DH. We talked about him earlier. He's the new baby for the three true
outcomes.
I can't think of it. There you go.
Three true outcomes, like the Kyle Schwarber stat. Yeah, the Kyle Schwarber stat.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but I liked him. I think he has really bumped this Chicago White Sox team up. Between him and Colson Montgomery, they've got a lot of other above average players. Do they have top 10 players? No, probably not. But they've got 4 or 5 other guys on that list. Cheese and I were talking about this off air, where it's like, wow, this guy's doing good. Wow, this guy's doing better than I thought he was. And so the White Sox have got some people coming, and they've got some above average players right now. So for me, Murakami is number 3.
Okay. My number 3, I had to put him 3. I had to put him in the top 3. Even though he's disappointed this year, because he's been amazing. I think he's a future Hall of Famer. That's Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Indians. Maybe finally showing his age. He's 33 now. He's been one of the best third basemen, if not the best, for the last decade. But he only has 16 RBIs. He has 16 stolen bases, which is great. But he has 16 RBIs, still playing good defense, hitting .215. Not like him. I think he'll turn around. I don't think he'll ever be, 2024, 39 homers, 118 RBIs, 279 hitter, but he's still a very good player in the heart and soul of that team. So at number 3, Jose Ramirez.
Interesting. So we'll talk more about him in a moment. And I'm going to give you my number 2 guy and then say we're going to talk more about Jose in a minute. So it kind of gives it away. But my number 2 guy, and I struggled, like I said, I struggled with 1, 2, and 3. Bobby Witt Jr. for me is number 2. Yeah. Yes, 302 batting average, but he regressed some in the beginning of this season. 5 home runs, only got 19 RBIs and 19 runs. Not fantastic for a leadoff. I mean, he's not a leadoff hitter. He's like 2 or 3.
He's second.
So he needs to have a little bit more offensive production. I looked at his defense. That has not dropped off, so good for him, and that's why he stayed at number 2. But I just can't put him above the guy I'm going to put at 1, just because of the track record. I guess if I was doing it right now, I would have to put Bobby Witt at 1. But I let the track record get in the way, and maybe because he signed my baseball card during spring training, I also popped him up here to number 1. We'll get to him in a moment. But right now, Bobby Witt Jr., number 2.
More on him later. Okay. Yeah, our lists are always different. You mentioned, I think you had him at 5, my number 2. I know he's hurt, but he's just one of the best pitchers in baseball. And that's Tarik Skubal. It's a shame he got hurt. It's going to really hurt the Tigers chances this year, but also hurt their chances to maybe get something for him if they decide to sell. But he's just been amazing. His ERA 3 straight years, now 4 if you count this year, under 3. That's unheard of in baseball. That's like Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux, Pedro Martinez type stuff. Like you just don't see that. Tarik Skubal, he's going to be a free agent. Someone's going to pay him. I don't care if he doesn't pitch the rest of the year. Someone will pay him. He's just incredible. He's already worth 1.5 wins this year. So number 2, Tarik Skubal.
And I will tell you that I don't like the pitchers as much on these lists because the hitters affect the team every day. The pitchers only affect them 1 out of every 5 days. So I usually don't value pitchers as much as I do the hitters. But here's the list for me. Riley Green, Austin Martin. Well, okay, so Green's outfield, Detroit. Austin Martin is the everywhere guy in Minnesota. Stephen Kwan is the left fielder for the Guardians. Salvador Perez, pitcher / first baseman for the Royals. Colson Montgomery, great defensive shortstop for the White Sox. Tarik Skubal, starting pitcher currently on the IL. Byron Buxton, center fielder in Minnesota. Murakami is the White Sox DH. Bobby Witt Jr. is the shortstop for the Royals. And my number 1 guy, again, more track record than current, because currently he's hitting .215 with 6 home runs, only has 16 RBIs and 25 runs. Jose Ramirez is who I put at number 1 with the Cleveland Guardians. I don't know. You can balk at it. I really thought about putting Bobby Witt at number 1, and if he hadn't have started the season so slow, I probably would have. But I gave Ramirez the edge because of his track record.
I get it. My number 1, obviously, is Bobby Witt Jr. He leads the league in Fangraph WAR, and he got off to a slow start. Like, I was shocked to see that. How good he's been. Defensively, he's been unreal. Not just good, like unreal. Like, he's probably my vote for Platinum Gold Glove winner, which is the best defensive player in the American League. Despite the slow start, he's hitting .302, 5 homers, 19 RBIs, 12 stolen bases. He has 10 hits in his last 5 games. He did start slow with the bat. It has come around. He has been killing it with the bat. He's just one of the best players in baseball. He has been for years. He had this is his home runs in his career. 20, 30, 32, 23 this year, 5 so far. He's walking 10.4%, which is a career high. He's striking out the second lowest of his career. He's a dude. This guy is just such a dude. And luckily, Kansas City got him signed long term. And he's on my fantasy team. So, of course, he had to go number 1. He's helping me out a lot. So there you go. Mike loves to hear about my fantasy baseball team.
I do actually. I would like to come up with something when we have a half-season fantasy league here at All Gloves Off, and then maybe invite a few of our frequent messengers and stuff like that. So yes, this is our list. I want to thank you guys for being with us for the list and everything. But there have been a ton of people who have passed away in the last 2 days. I want to mention everybody here if I can. I hope I don't forget anybody. Not sure if you saw it earlier today. Seahawks announced it a few hours ago. Tight end Charlie Young passed away today. Let me scroll down to get to the next one here real fast. The radio announcer, or the PA announcer for the Cleveland Guardians, Bob Tayek, I believe is how you say his name. He did that from 1951 to 2026. He passed away today. Memphis. Let's see, let me get his position. Memphis forward Brandon Clark passed away earlier today as well. Let's see, today or yesterday. He passed away on Tuesday, so today, 29 years old. So a lot of those people have done all of those things, and we want to say condolences to their friends and family here on the Lights Out Sports Podcast. I believe that's everybody. And I want to turn this music off in the background for a second, and I want to leave you guys with a picture. Cheese, you got anything that you want to add to the end here? I always give you that option, and I was almost going to cut you off and not do it. You got anything you want to add to the end, sir?
No, just to follow me at Football with Cheese. And what I'm doing for the next 8 weeks on my channel, it's the off season, is I'm listing the 5 most important decisions or biggest moves each team has made. and then allowing you guys watching the video to let me know in the comments what you think is the biggest move. It could be a trade, a free agent signing, hiring a coordinator, losing a head coach. It could be anything. So I did that, and I'm doing the NFC West first. In fact, I released my Arizona Cardinal video earlier today. You saw that? Did you? Oh, did you watch that?
I haven't got a chance to watch it. No, but when I was for those of you who don't know, in the comments here on the podcast, I always put Cheese's YouTube spot where you can just click on and go right to his channel. And then I did the guest as well. We want to thank Isaac, of course, from Fun Football Podcast. He was here with us to do the Packers beginning, and his link to his YouTube is there in the description as well. So when I clicked on that earlier and I was copying and pasting, I was like, oh, he released an Arizona Cardinal video, and I didn't see it till now. So no, I have not had a chance to watch it. I'll actually watch it on my way to work.
It's cool. So yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, I'm curious what you have to say about it. But yeah, doing the West first. I have to wait and do the East because Eagles won't trade AJ Brown till June 1st, and I can't do the North because Aaron Rodgers, who the heck knows what he's going to do? Apparently, he was in Pittsburgh and then didn't even meet with the team at all. He was just in Pittsburgh, I guess, because he lived there last year. I don't know. Who knows what's going on with that dude? It's a weird dude. I love him to death, but he's a weird dude. So yeah, so check those out on my channel. I'll be doing that next 8 weeks. I'll do a division each week. But of course, anything crazy, any trade, whatever, I'll make a video, and I will make a video reacting to the schedule release as well. So at Football with Cheese, and follow me on X at Football Cheese.
All right, so I'll encourage you guys. This is one podcast on All Gloves Off Sports Media. We have several. We have the Red Hot Reds on Sundays and Wednesdays. You have Minor League Monday on Mondays, obviously. And then we've got us on Tuesday. And then later on in the week, you also have, oh man, I lost Mr. First Down's name of his podcast. Fanboys Unleashed. There we go. Fanboys Unleashed.
I was trying to think of it too.
Oh, I almost got me. And then, of course, we have a new wrestling podcast now called Cheap Pop Society. We will be announcing one more. I will do it next week on this show. So look forward to that. Cheese, thank you very much. To all of our fans, thank you very much. I want to leave you with this picture, and then we will bid you adieu.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Ted Turner, Bobby Cox, and the guy in the middle, if you don't know, is some guy named Hake Aaron, with the Truist ballpark in the background there at what the interpreter of the picture would say are the pearly gates. So, again, thank you guys very much. We certainly appreciate everything that you've done for us. We love you, and we'll see you in a week.